I think Trent is insisting.
Well, I got a question for you later.
Wow, what a
David.
tease. What a tease. Huh. Man.
Nothing urgent. I just need your advice on something.
Well, I certainly hope it's career related because let me tell you, I'm an expert on that. Whoo. It's funny. My wife doesn't even look up at me anymore. I'm leaving. I'm not going to see her for over 4 days. She's just like, have fun. Okay.
Second nature.
Really going to miss me. You get paid though, right? Yep. Sure do. Don't you worry.
Okay, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. And just like that, it's the first hump day of 2024. Let's get over it together, shall we? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Show 2 of the new year. I don't know you, but I'm fired up. Our guests have guests. Morning, Mark. What's up?
Well, a little bit of everything. You know, the first day without football after a weekend with just incredible football, you've got to sink back to reality. Watch a little college hoop last night.
Oh, yeah. You have to transition. I mean, we only got 1 week left, and then you can literally start counting them down almost, on the fingertips.
And it comes down to the proper answer. Because my wife routinely asks the same question of me right around dinner time. What are you watching tonight? What's on tonight? What game's on? Something along those lines. She knows the routine. And I made the mistake last night of going, nothing really.
Oh.
Because that then invites conversation. Spending time together.
You are then taking recommendations on what you should be watching?
Exactly. Maybe watch a show together. I don't know. When the simple answer could have just been Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Atlantic. Panthers are out west.
So after botching the answer, what did you do?
Conversed with my family all night and then went to bed.
Was it painful?
No, it was fine. I think Florida Atlantic, East Carolina might have been a little bit better.
Especially since FAU had trouble most of the night.
Pulled away, did not cover.
No.
Pulling away about the last TV timeout. Basically, That was a decent game until about 5 minutes left.
Needed one more bucket to cover. Yep. So, yeah, we're down to 30 football games, just so everybody knows. We got 16 NFL games, then we got 13 NFL playoff games, and we got a national championship game. We have 30 football games left. All right?
30 becomes 14 in a hurry.
Yes. And a week from today, we'll be down to 13. I'm just saying. All right. So you may want to, everybody, I'm not just saying you, I mean, everybody may want to really savor this weekend. Over half the football games are this weekend. Go somewhere where you can do red zone. Make sure you watch the Saturday doubleheader. Even if neither game interests you. Steelers, Ravens. Hell, it doesn't even interest the Ravens. Houston, Indianapolis. A playoff spot's on the line. I know no one cares, but sell it. Otherwise, like Mark, you'll have to, quote, converse with family, unquote.
These are your choices.
Right. Okay. CJ Stroud, Gardner Minshew, or converse with family. You decide.
That's what we're presenting right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you may love your family, but 3.5 hours of conversation can lead to a lot of different things.
And at some point, a topic's going to be brought up that's going to be uncomfortable.
Always is.
Yep. And the question is, how long does it take during those 3.5 hours to get there?
I'll just set, last night at dinner with my mother, it took about 45 minutes.
What's up with mom? Well, why would she bring up something uncomfortable?
It's her nature. Red wine. Whichever one you want to choose.
Come on now. What does she have to be uncomfortable about, for goodness sakes?
David, she's 79 years old and she watches the news too much.
Well,
there are a lot of things. If you watch, and it's one of the reasons that Miller and Moulton have made a conscious decision to not bring politics ever into the show. Very rarely, when it crosses over, do we have to. But for the most part, we do sports. Do you know why? It avoids uncomfortable conversations. We'd much rather talk to College Football Playoff Committee in those uncomfortable conversations than any other uncomfortable conversations.
Right. Let's talk the end of the Lions-Cowboys game.
Right.
That's about as uncomfortable as we want to get. Right.
Speaking of which, they sent a memo out basically defending the referee again.
Well, they did more than that. They sent a video. I saw the video. I will say, what was not shown by ESPN, there is evidence there that does support Brad Allen. I don't know if I can adequately describe it, but Brad Allen, the Lions have scored. They've quickly celebrated. They're huddling. Brad Allen is about to start the play clock. The ball has been centered, so to speak. Brad Allen has his right arm up in the air, and he looks over at the Lions bench. My understanding, with talking to longtime referee John Perry, is this is standard procedure. You look at the offensive bench first. Basically, is there a substitution coming in? And number 70, when Brad Allen looks over at the bench, number 70 is just starting to jog onto the field. Number 70 raises his left arm. A clear signal to Brad Allen, like, hey, well, according to most referees, the eligibility signal is not a verbal one. It's one given by a hand gesture, a wiping of the jersey, a raising of the hand. It's not done verbally. And on this video, they show other examples of 70 entering the game and how it is that he contacted Brad Allen to let him know he was eligible. Now, most times he got up to Allen and then rubbed his jersey. But in this instance, he's entering late. The first 2-3 jogs onto the field, Mark, he's got his left arm up in the air, and Brad Allen's looking right at him.
It doesn't take away from the fact that Decker comes over and clearly wipes his jersey in front of him and is in his grill telling him he's eligible.
Well, I must admit, the video that they released is from the distance. It's from, I would say, it's down on the left end of the field. The video camera angle is probably wide angle from the other, I don't know, midfield, maybe even other 40. So it's wide angle from half a field away. And you do see Decker and Sewell walk over to Allen. From this angle, you can't see either one of them wiping their jerseys. Now, maybe there's the in close angle that shows it. What obviously would eliminate all doubt is audio. And I think most everyone feels there is audio somewhere. Are we ever going to hear it? I mean, my money's on no, but I will say, all right, the evidence that was released by the NFL yesterday is the first indication that number 70 is indicating to Allen that he's eligible. I'm coming in and I'm eligible. Now, because otherwise, why would number 70 be running in with his arm up? Okay, Allen looking right at him running right at Allen. So it's the first piece of evidence that supports the referee, if you know what I mean, about 70 declaring himself eligible. But, I mean, I saw the video. The video's not fake. It's not edited, okay? They just ran it for about 15, 20 seconds. They just ran it. And then you observe what you observe. So, but they sent out a 1:45 video last night showing multiple examples of how it is that one is supposed to check in. And they showed multiple examples of 70 in that game as to how it is he checked in. And then, of course, they showed the final sequence.
If there's audio that supports Brad Allen, I think we'll hear that.
Why? We haven't heard it yet.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think if we were going to hear it, I think it would have been in that video yesterday. So I don't think there is going to be any audio that we're going to hear because I don't think it supports Brad Allen enough.
Now, the people that I talked to last night, they don't normally send out audio even when the NFL or the officials, Walt Anderson, send out a video like that. They don't send out like NFL Films audio. In fact, you don't hear any crowd. You just hear, I think it's Walt Anderson talking over procedurally what should be done, etc.
The league has doubled and tripled down that they are right.
Well, they at least presented, I took it as they at least presented some evidence, okay, that they are not completely at fault here, was the way I took it.
Oh, I think they took it as they're right. I don't think that there's evidence that I think they're proving their case. After the game, they made a statement. They put out a video that supports their statement. They've not once talked about the fact that Decker went directly to the official, and they won't. And to your point, David, the audio won't come out.
The other thing is, it's now in dispute. Adam Schefter reported Sunday morning that Brad Allen and his crew has essentially been demoted. Well, they were given the Steelers-Ravens national game Saturday afternoon. I mean, if they had been demoted, you put them on one of the 4 or 5 games this week that has absolutely no playoff implications whatsoever. Instead, they're putting them on the very first national broadcast they can. So there's some dispute within the ranks as to whether or not Brad Allen and his crew have, in fact, been demoted or, I don't know, whatever it is that you'd call it, given a check mark and that they're not going to get any playoff games. So we'll see.
What's a day without a little NFL controversy to keep the NFL news cycle in motion as we get ready for the final regular season weekend of football?
I mean, it was only 3.5 days ago. Not that they know how to, the NBA is going, can we get any attention at all? Hockey's like, come on, we held the game outdoors in Seattle. Is anybody paying attention?
Negative, Ghost Rider. The path is full. So is our guest list today. Great show ahead. Dalton Miller, Seth Everett, Bud Elliott, Coach Pat Chambers, all ahead on Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey y'all, it's Ben Allen. When it comes to singing and performing live shows, I'm in my comfort zone. When it comes to wanting to surprise my wife with diamonds, I'm a bit lost. That's why I go see my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd helped me blow my wife away when we got engaged, and I've been applauding them ever since. If you're in the market for diamonds this holiday season, Southwest Florida has been giving Jason and Todd a standing ovation for over 20 years. Go see them and let Jason and Todd know that Ben Allen sent you.
Thanks, Ben. We're proud of you and your accomplishments and thrilled that you are part of our Diamond District family.
This holiday season, visit Jason and me at the Diamond District. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You know, something else that's kind of gone under the radar with that whole debacle is how late the flag was. I know that's one of those where you got to go talk to the crew and stuff.
It wasn't late. It was just because they discussed it.
But it seemed.
You can't get over this, can you?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, I already am over it.
No,
I'm not going to lie.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I'm on to Minnesota.
Poll question. Is Trent over the call yet?
Yes, no. If the Lions don't win a playoff game ever.
How's that? That's a good answer, David. If the Lions get crushed by the 6th seed, then no, I will not be over it ever. All my Detroit buddies and I were talking though yesterday, and we were like trying to find the silver lining. And the good news is now you might not have to go to Philly and play in the cold. Goff stinks in the cold. But the flip side is Philly might not be any good. So maybe you wanted to play Philly.
Yeah, I think you did want to play Philly.
I just can't wait for the seeding to be finalized, and then we can start previewing all the matchups because it's going to be a great playoffs.
David,
Mm-hmm.
I won't do this on this day, but if you want to know one of the main problems of this country, it was today in 1985 that Mitch McConnell became the senator of Kentucky.
What year?
1985.
It was 39 years ago.
So what do you guys think of this, the line on the Buffalo-Miami game?
What is it?
Buffalo's a 3-point favorite on the road. That seems a lot to me. For a Bills team that hasn't proven any sort of consistency over the last 4 years. But I don't know. I'm just curious. I think it should be closer to a pick 'em, maybe 1.5.
The 1, 3, and 5 seeds in each conference are locked in. Detroit and KC are the 3. Although I guess technically Dallas could lose to Washington, Detroit could win, Detroit could move up to 2, right?
Yeah.
So,
but likely not, because the Lions might not even win. I don't know if they're gonna.
They'll win. Minnesota's done.
Yeah.
We'll
see the Lions play though. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Minnesota doesn't have a quarterback. Mongo, we haven't added the station yet. The expectation is we will add 2 before the month is over. Jacksonville and Huntsville, Alabama is where we're targeting.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes after the hour. Top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Got about an hour or so until the guests come one after another. Good ones, though. Dalton Miller, Pro Football Network, Seth Everett, Bud Elliott. And in our Diamond District bonus hour, Pat Chambers, the head coach of FGCU. They pulled a stunner on Saturday, knocking off 7th ranked at the time, FAU. Conference play begins in their conference, the ASUN, tomorrow. And we'll talk to Coach Chambers about what was and what will be. 21,000 is the text line. Make sure you watch us from time to time. Twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. It'll be worth your time, we promise. It's entertaining. The Twitch chat room can be funny, snarky. We like it.
We support snark on this show.
We do. Miller and Moulton, 2024, full of snark.
I don't know who's on the other end of our ticket, but Snark's on one. Snark's our president. I'm not sure who our vice president is, David.
I actually think Snark should be the VP.
Probably.
Just
to roll his eyes every time the president says something wrong.
State of the Union, be sitting there. Oh,
geez.
Here he goes again. Not this again. I can't even get behind this one. Lean over to the Speaker of the House. What this again?
Is this going to go this long again?
Unbelievable.
I've got stuff to do.
Can we wrap this up? This is, second half of Big Monday, for goodness sakes. Hey, listen, I'm just going to throw this out there. Peacock better figure it out, okay? If you're going to televise live sports, your clock has to match up with the real clock.
I am so glad you brought this up.
Got it? So I don't know if they had a men's game on last night, but they had Iowa women against Michigan State because people want to see Caitlin Clark play. She hit a game-winning shot last night.
Right.
Well, if you were watching the game on Peacock, the ball is clear. She's not even close to releasing the ball when their clock's at 0-0. Not only that, it sure sounds like the horn goes while the ball is still on her hand. But if you look at the video evidence, the whole red, backboard, the edge of the backboard, that's the official. When that goes off, it's 000. Well, she got the shot off according to the red lights on the backboard. So their video and audio were a little off, or at least their audio and their clock, their timer was off. Well, you can't. Come on. You can't be fast. If anything, be slow. But you can't be fast. All right. That's my pet peeve of the day. We take our live sports seriously in this country, Mark. We have nothing else, okay? Like you said, otherwise we have to converse with family. We are not interested in that, especially since we've just done way too much of that in the last 6 weeks. I mean, Thanksgiving, Christmas, a couple of Eves, New Year's Day, perhaps. I mean, there's a lot of talking amongst people who don't normally talk with each other. How much more do we have to say? So now it's back to the sports. Well, come on, guys, get it right. It's important.
Synced up. That seems like something in 2024 that should never happen. And I'm not joking. That's something that would have happened in the 20th century.
Correct.
We should have passed by that by now.
So that's all. That's all I'm saying. Listen, Peacock. All right. Hell, we're going to have to watch a wild card playoff game on Peacock coming up in a week and a half. Seriously, that's it. It's the only place it's going to be offered outside of the local markets. By the way, they released the ratings. Remember when they showed that, what was it, Chargers-Bills game only on Peacock? 8+ million people watched. That's about half the audience that would have watched if they had put it on anything. So people have made the switch to Amazon on Thursdays. A decent number of people are watching Thursday Night Football. They didn't exactly buy into the Chargers-Bills.
Well, I don't know. I mean, how many streaming services can you have?
And
where is Peacock on that list? Because Amazon at least is a weekly game, and let's be honest, most of us had Amazon anyhow because of our wife's shopping.
Right. Maybe that's what Peacock needs to do. They need to somehow tie it into merchandise. Maybe that'll help.
I think they're a little late for that party, but you might be onto something.
But that'll be interesting in a week and a half, by the way, depending on the game. How many of you will purchase Peacock even for a one-time and a limited time only thing just to watch an NFL playoff game?
It's what they're hoping for, and then you don't cancel because you forget.
Well, they at least get you for a month.
Right.
If they get 10 million of you, I don't know, what's it, $4?
I think it's $6.
Is it really? So there you go. I mean, they're paying $100 million for the game. I mean, it's a special, one time only. Hey, if we give you $100 million, would you give us this game on Peacock? I'm sorry, what'd you say? Peacock. Huh.
No, what was the first part? $100 million.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let me go talk to Raj and wait by the phone. So anyway, that's all. Just come on now. If we're gonna transition to college basketball, we're gonna start having Shelby Maston talking bracketology soon. I mean, if we're gonna transition here, the least you could do, get your damn clock synced up, okay?
It was a pretty nice step back three.
It was ridiculous.
I mean, it was
35 feet.
Step back, 35-foot three-pointer to win the game.
Golly, Steph Curry went, damn, that's impressive. My goodness. I'm telling you, people have made fun of the WNBA for a long time. That's where she's playing next. I'm just people are going to watch her play. She's fun.
You think she's going to do one more year at Iowa, though? The NIL?
I would.
I mean, I think she will.
It's a huge pay cut to go to the WNBA for her.
Huge.
Honestly, if she was going to go, if she wanted to go, which I'm sure she will at some point, of course, but if she was passionate about going, she would have gone last offseason.
Well, listen, this is not a joke. She'll make more in 1 year at Iowa than she'll probably make in her whole WNBA career unless
Easily.
they're going to alter the salary structure. I think the maximum salary when you reach veteran status and what have you is around $200,000. Well, she's making what, 10 times that? She's got to be making $1.5 million this year at Iowa, don't you think?
David, I'm so, I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm clueless because there's no actual reporting. But she's making for sure $1 million.
She's the biggest athlete on that campus.
Oh, and she was last year as well.
Yeah. And
You know,
this is
last year I was told she was making upwards of $400,000.
and we make fun of the football program. They went to a Big Ten title game this year. The basketball
No,
program.
it doesn't matter where they ended up. We're still going to make fun of that
Oh,
football
of
program.
course. But
Trent,
I'm just
Trent, I mean,
she's-
that's really, I mean, you know, it channeled your inner David Revson there. You went Big Ten Network on us, and we're going to
Right.
stop you.
It's
Okay,
very
we're going to stop
impressive.
you right there.
Right.
she's bigger than the football team. That's the point.
Well, she's certainly more successful. She certainly scores more, put it that way. In fact, she scores more in a night. There it is. Watch Iowa women's basketball. We score more in a night than the football team scores in a month.
Sean Salisbury, friend of the show, somehow watched Iowa's bowl game, tweeted out, takes me 2 weeks to put together a more competent staff and do better on offense than what they're doing right now. 2 weeks. Miller and Moulton. Great show lined up for you. Dalton Miller in 1 hour's time. But next is the starting five with David Moulton on Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey, y'all, it's Ben Allen.
Hey, y'all.
When it comes to singing and performing live shows, I'm in my comfort zone. When it comes to wanting to surprise my wife with diamonds, I'm a bit lost. That's why I go see my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd helped me blow my wife away when we got engaged, and I've been applauding them ever since. If you're in the market for diamonds this holiday season, Southwest Florida has been giving Jason and Todd a standing ovation for over 20 years. Go see them and let Jason and Todd know that Ben Allen sent you.
Thanks, Ben. We're proud of you and your accomplishments and thrilled that you are part of our Diamond District family.
This holiday season, visit Jason and me at the Diamond District. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Christmas is over, but Jason and Todd with the Diamond District are still in the spirit of giving. Celebrate the final days of 2023 at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will be in the store nearly every day to make sure you're receiving the lowest prices on fine jewelry and diamonds in Southwest Florida. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom, you won't find a better selection of stunning yellow diamonds, color gemstone jewelry, engagement rings, diamond hoop earrings and bracelets, along with GIA certified diamonds, engagement rings, and more. Diamond stud earrings have been a big hit, and the Diamond District will continue to offer 27% off. And if you're thinking of getting engaged before the ball drops and it's 2024, I assure you no one will show you more GIA certified diamonds than my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to their Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Nick resigned from the Dolphins and took the Bama job today in 07.
After Rich Rod turned it down. And then a year later, Rich Rod takes the Michigan job.
Those were the days.
Yep. KW, where is Saturday a washout? Because they're also calling for storms through, Ohio, Pennsylvania into the Northeast Saturday night into Sunday. $5 discount. I don't think that's enough, by the way. That's not enough of a draw, I don't think. Mac, don't you think it needs to be at least 10%? We actually want to get people to go, oh, really? Well, then I'll go shopping on Wednesday. 5%.
At a grocery store?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's $5. Spending $100, it's $5.
I understand, but the margins aren't that great in grocery stores. I'm just.
Oh, the way they're jacking up the prices.
But Wednesday's the day before all the sales take effect. It's like the sales run Thursday through Tuesday, I think. Maybe they run Thursday through Wednesday, but because the new circulars usually come out on Tuesday.
Look at you, happy homemaker here.
It's what I do, David. Mr. Mom.
Well, you're good at it.
If I could get some of the, moms in the neighborhood to play cards with coupons, we'd be all set.
Man, I'd love that Tuesday noon bridge game. I'd love to put a camera and a microphone at that. Next thing you know, by about 1 o'clock, you start breaking out the hard stuff.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the top of the hour. Dalton Miller, Pro Football Network, an hour from now. Seth Everett, Bud Elliott to join us along the network. In the bonus hour, FGCU men's basketball coach Pat Chambers scheduled to join us, coming off the big upset of FAU, and conference play getting underway tomorrow. We are Miller and Moulton. This is the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. It is time now for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
number 1, the NFL. Carolina owner David Tepper. We didn't talk about this yesterday. Did you see the video?
I did.
I laughed because it's ridiculous. I mean, it's appalling. But if you didn't see it, Mark, what did the owner of the Carolina Panthers do Sunday in Jacksonville?
Took his watered down drink and threw it in his fat face.
He was apparently getting heckled by a fan, and so he threw his drink at him. Owners in the suite, fans in the stands. Yeah. I mean, why did he get so mad? So they got shut out and they lost. I mean, not the first time this year.
What'd you say to him, Reg? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. The NFL fined Tepper $300,000, which, of course, then got people to go, when you fine a billionaire $300,000, it's the equivalent of, and basically it's like a coffee at Dunkin'. But, hey, at least they did something. They did say, come on, man, we can't be throwing drinks at fans. I mean, if you're going to do that, at least have it be your fans. Can't do it on the road. Come on now. The NFL sent out a video last night reminding teams and players to, quote, clearly, unquote, report as eligible. In the video does appear to be evidence of number 70 for the Lions getting the referee's attention as he's jogging onto the field in a way which is usually indicative of, hey, I'm eligible. So this thing ain't going to die. Do you think the football gods, to end this once and for all, what do you say? Lions beat the Vikings. Cowboys lose to the Commanders. Eagles beat the Giants. Lions are the 2. Eagles are the 3. Cowboys are the 5. And we can all proceed with the NFC playoffs in which no one's been wrong.
Let me just ask you this question, David. Can you cite a time in the last 55 years in which the football gods have done anything to benefit the Detroit Lions?
Besides Bettis screwing up the coin toss, not really, no. And that's not the gods. That was Bettis. So
that's all.
Well, the Packers, maybe the football gods did direct the Packers to take Tony Mandarich instead of Barry Sanders. I mean, it's possible the gods had nothing to do with either, but both are inexplicable. Screwing up a coin toss and taking the steroid pig over the Heisman Trophy winner. Just saying. The Jets cut running back Dalvin Cook. They actually did him a favor. He went to him and said, come on, I didn't even play last game. I got teams that are going to enter the playoffs that I might be able to latch on with. I signed a 1-year contract. I ain't re-signing. So could you release me? And the Jets went, yeah, sure, we can do that. Dalvin Cook has carried the ball all of 67 times this year for 214 yards. By the way, would one of those teams be the Dolphins with Mostert's injury? And for a team heading to the playoffs who needs a running back, it's not like there's a lot of worn tires on Dalvin Cook this season. He's averaging 4 touches a game. Sean McVay announced he is coming back next year as Rams head coach. This is now going to be a yearly thing because he started talking about retirement a couple of years ago. So Sean McVay, quote, definitely coming back, unquote, for the Rams. A couple of historic figures, or at least figures on historic teams from the 60s, passed away. Frank Ryan was quarterback of the 64 Browns. They're the last Cleveland football team to win a championship. Frank Ryan, a fascinating man, got his doctorate in mathematics at Yale. Actually was, I think, athletic director at Yale for 10 years. He created the way we vote in the House of Representatives. He modernized the House of Representatives in terms of being able to quickly add up the votes. He's the guy responsible for that. He also quarterbacked the 64 Browns. He was 87. And Ken Bowman kind of backed up Bill Curry as center on the great Lombardi Packers teams in the mid-60s. But, he was there. He actually snapped the ball for the Ice Bowl. Bart Starr's quarterback sneak. He's the center. And he played on the, 2 Super Bowl champions. Ken Bowman was 81. College football, no surprise. Georgia tight end Brock Bowers, he's going pro. Alabama edge rusher Dallas Turner, he's going pro. I just want to say this to Dallas Turner. If you had a hard time against Michigan, you may have a harder time on Sundays. I'm just saying. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? The Michigan O-line may be better than half of the NFL's O-lines from what we've seen this year. Can't tell.
Certainly at this point in the season, they're healthier.
And An interesting quarterback entered the portal last night. Liberty's Kadon Salter. He threw for 36 touchdowns and he ran for over 1,000 yards. Yeah. I don't know. Seems as if he could help a few teams. College basketball last night. No upsets on either side, at least according to ranked teams. 17th ranked FAU pulled away late, did not cover at home against East Carolina, 79-64. And one ranked team in action on the women's side. 4th ranked Iowa got 40 from Caitlin Clark, including a 35-footer at the buzzer to beat Michigan State 76-73. They call it a logo 3. You know, straight on. Your feet are standing on the logo. Right. I'll tell you what, just for the hell of it, next time you're around a basketball court with a basketball, try to hit the rim from 35 feet. Tell me how many times it takes. Take as much of a wind-up as you need. Travel if you have to. Hit the rim from 35 feet. It ain't easy. She makes it look really easy.
She does.
6 games in the NBA last night. Mark, the home teams went 5-1, which is not that out of the norm. Best game of the night in Oklahoma City. I'm telling you, it could be a disaster. I mean, it's bad enough the Nuggets won the title last year for the NBA, but the 2 best teams in the West are the Timberwolves and the Thunder. Ooh, talk about a ratings juggernaut. How about a Minnesota OKC conference final, huh? But SGA, better get to know his name. That's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 36. Thunder over the Celtics, 127-123. That would actually be a very entertaining finals. Okay, people would mock it. It would be terrific. Charlotte, the only road team to win. They snapped an 11-game skid. They won in Sacramento. Ja had 26, by the way, and dunked on Wemby. Huh? Bet Wemby didn't see that in France. Memphis beat the Spurs. And the Magic have lost 7 of 10. Remember about 3 weeks ago we said Cupcake City's over? They're playing the real teams now? Yeah, they've lost 7 of 10. They lost to Golden State last night, 121-115. Steph with 36. The Warriors are still below 500. Sixers got a triple-double from Embiid, beating the Bulls. And the Pelicans, boy, the Brooklyn Nets are struggling. They're struggling to the point in which you start wondering about how much longer they can struggle before the head coach is in trouble. They're 4 games below 500. NHL, bunch of games last night. Road teams went 8-5, including the Panthers, scoring 3 in the third to win their 5th straight. They beat Arizona 4-1. Reinhart and Kachuk with back-to-back goals 42 seconds apart in the third. Carolina went into the Garden, spanked the Rangers 6-1. Ovechkin scored for the Caps, who jumped out to a 4-0 lead and held off Crosby, and the Pens. Sid scored 4-3. Detroit won. Man, crazy night for the road teams if the Wings are winning. David Perron.
I think that's 8 or 9 straight losses for San Jose. I mean, they're the worst team in the league.
Right. They're back to being just god-awful again. David Perron with 2 goals in the third to snap a tie and a 5-3 win. But the Lightning unable to get it done on the road. They got power play goals from Stamkos and Kucherov. That was early in the first and late in the third. In the middle, they did nothing and lost to Winnipeg 4-2. They're talking Kucherov right now for midseason MVP.
He's been incredible.
Well, what's he leading the league in goals and points?
Yeah.
And right now, I don't think they make the playoffs. So, listen, and nothing still in baseball. This is the slowest, most boring baseball offseason in a long time.
Oh, kind of like the regular season had been up until they put the pitch clock in.
Well, they need a pitch clock of free agency then, too. All right, come on. Let's move this sucker. In fact, that's what they should do. Jordan Montgomery, 13 minutes. Go. Let's go. We're
that would be fascinating.
Yes. You know, then all of a sudden, You know, you got a lefty pitcher? Yeah, bring it. Blake Snell, 15 minutes on the clock. Go. 10 minutes before the hour. That was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
By the way, pay attention to the weather.
We live in Florida. That's all we pay attention to.
Well, not necessarily for Florida, although maybe it could impact the Dolphins game Sunday night against the Bills, I guess. But apparently there's a winter front, Mark. Saturday night into Sunday, hitting the Northeast, could affect a few football games. That's all I'm saying. It's just worth paying attention to. I know not for fans.
You meant around here.
I just, that's pay attention to the weather. Just, we got fans of, so many teams. I just want you to just keep that in mind. That's all. Probably it's not going to affect you and your travel, but, could affect the game. All of a sudden you turn it on Saturday night Saturday night's game's in a dome, but, you turn it on Sunday and you go, what the heck we got here? I mean, Mark, it could affect that barn burner between the Jets and the Patriots. The Giants and the Eagles. It could be, traumatic. Dallas and Washington. I mean, just saying, that could affect some games. That's all.
I'm just having a little fun because it's a little colder than normal this morning, David. I thought you were just giving us a little PSA for those of us for those that still haven't walked the dog this morning, are going to get hit with temperatures that they're not used to.
Mark, yesterday and today, it's been in the 30s here in Jacksonville. So,
Has your wife left the house?
Listen, this is what she said she wanted. I remind her of it every morning. This is what you wanted. Oh, it's cold. Let's go out on the lanai.
Boy, you are a blankety blank.
Hey. Yes. Listen.
Take 5 direct flights away from the big guy a year, and there's hell to pay.
That's right.
Every time next year, Delta Atlanta connection, Moulton's going, I'll wait until it gets 30, and I'll let her know about the weather again.
And now next year, I got to do Big Ten travel. Okay, at least Southwest Florida's got direct flights to many Big Ten cities, not Jacksonville. That's right. I'll remind her. Honey, let's go on the lanai. What are you, crazy? Nah, it's a brisk morning, honey. Remember, you wanted this.
Get used to connections at O'Hare, David.
Yeah,
it will be a long year going through Chicago for
right.
you next year.
It's definitely where you want to try to make a connection. ORD. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for waking up with us. Where else but the Florida Sports Network?
Firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSBs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other. with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. What the hell? What the holy hell?
What happened?
NBC2 just changed their whole damn website. And it does not fit me at all. Unbelievable.
Uh-oh.
That's not good.
So my wife just showered. She's got a wet head of hair. She's in a robe. She's reclined on the couch. If you open up the sliding door to our lanai, it's a direct path to where she is on the couch. And so I walked in and I started opening up the door. She's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm just, checking out the morning." Okay, I leave the door open for a few seconds, Look around. I come out. I go, no, it's a little brisk this morning. 39. Close the door. She's just glaring at me. I walk back to the living room, eating a banana, walk back to the bedroom.
You're really proud of yourself for that, aren't you?
I am.
That's the a-hole moment of the show, and it wasn't even involving me.
Nope. No, that's the a-hole moment of the day.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Let's get over it together, shall we? Hope your year's off to a good start. Thanks for beginning 2024 with us in some way, shape, or form. We are Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Dalton Miller, Pro Football Network. He will join us coming up in about 35 minutes' time. Seth Everett in an hour, Bud Elliott in an hour and a half. And heck, we even have a guest in the Diamond District bonus hour, Pat Chambers, FGCU men's basketball coach. They had a huge win, biggest regular season win in school history, at least according to, beating a ranked team. They beat a top 10 team in the country, beat them at home, beat FAU, sold out crowd. That's the way to get the season kick-started heading into conference play, which gets underway tomorrow night. So
text line is open at 21,000. People chiming in on a few different things.
Like what?
Well, we have a couple people that are excited about Bud and like Bud and are a little upset of his Florida State apologist tour is what they're calling it. I don't know what you want out of the guy. People make point blank questions and accusations of him in the program, and he answers them. But if he's an apologist to you, then he's an apologist. But his point is you can't use an exhibition game to determine who gets in the college football playoff. If that's your justification as to why Florida State wasn't in, he thinks you're looking at the wrong things.
Well, he also went out of his way to make the point, listen, if you're making the justification of keeping Florida State out, that their quarterback got hurt, and that the backup Rodemaker would be unable to throw the ball effectively against a good opponent, will then defend Milroe in Alabama throwing for 116 yards. I mean, his point was, I really think Rodemaker with those wide receivers would have thrown the ball for at least 116 yards against Michigan. Maybe not, but that's his point. And a few Bama fans and SEC fans are taking exception to that. But that's why we're having him on in an hour and a half to answer those slings and arrows, so to speak. Are you intrigued by the whole, who's going to end up as what seed in the NFL playoffs? Because, we've been talking for a month about Stafford and the Rams potentially going into Detroit. Well, it looks like Detroit's going to be the 3. The Rams could easily be the 7 and not the 6. I mean, the Rams are probably not going to play their regulars in San Francisco this weekend. Now, the Niners are not playing McCaffrey, and they're probably not playing Purdy either. I mean, they're talking that this game could be Sam Darnold against Carson Wentz at quarterback. But if the Niners backups beat the Rams backups, and the Packers beat the Bears, the Packers are the 6. The Rams are the 7. So what's worse, Lions fan, having to play the Packers in the playoffs at home or having to play the Stafford and the Rams?
It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't think those opponents there's a great disparity between the two. It's not like the difference between being the 3 and the 4 seed and getting a good NFC East team. Although we could argue how good that team is right now.
There's no guarantee.
Packers.
I'm sorry, what?
I said I'd much rather play the Packers.
Okay, even though they whooped you last time you two played in Detroit.
Yeah, but Detroit's biggest weakness is the secondary, and with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, I'd rather play
the
Packers.
Fair enough. Now, there's no guarantee Green Bay is going to beat Chicago, even though goodness knows they own Chicago. But if the Bears play spoiler the way the Lions did last year, remember going into Lambeau, played spoiler when they were on a late season roll, and the Bears are on a late season roll. Now we start bringing the Seahawks into play. They're next. If Seattle can't beat Arizona, now that Falcons-Saints game's got meaning. Because the Saints, even if the Bucks beat Carolina to win the South, all of a sudden, New Orleans could get the wild card at 9-8. I mean that's just for the last damn playoff spot in the NFC. And I mean, right now, Mark, okay, Rams at Niners, who would you pick? Not knowing who's going to play.
Niners.
Okay. Packers at Bears, who are you going to pick?
I think the Bears are winning that football game.
Okay, well then here we go. Now Seattle against Arizona. Well, hell, Arizona just went to Philly, beat the Eagles.
In Arizona, you've got to admit, for a team that's as bad record-wise as they are, Arizona's played competitive, hard football all year long.
They really have. They have. They've played hard for that coach. I will say people who covered their training camp liked him, bought into him, said, listen, I don't think they're going to be any good, but I actually think this coach is. National people who went in there, they're like, he's got something. I know he's young and they're going to be terrible, but I like him. Well, think about the two coordinators for Sirianni and Philly last year. The one guy's got Indianapolis poised to make the playoffs, and the other guy's leading Arizona. They're both doing a pretty good job, right?
And Philadelphia
it's falling apart.
Is quite messy without their coordinators. So I find this final day interesting from the NFC standpoint. Because like you said, I mean, these games they're toss-ups. This could go, I mean, right now, New Orleans is listed as the 9 seed. They could end up in. They need a lot to happen, but we just went through it. And you're like, I think it's going to happen. Okay. Listen, how worried are we about Tampa? Carolina's horrendous, but so was that performance on Sunday against the Saints. Well, I'm not worried about Tampa because of Carolina.
Okay.
I know they threw a clunker at the wrong time. You kind of called, not necessarily the clunker, but you called New Orleans playing desperate football, playing their most desperate game. And I think you were on to something with that. Obviously, it proved to be true. But I do think it's Carolina. And if your job was on the line and you could pick one opponent to save your job, you'd pick the Carolina Panthers.
I think maybe the Michigan Wolverines would pick the Carolina. I think they'd rather play Carolina on Monday than the Washington Huskies. I kid, but not much. Not much. Huskies have better weapons anyway. And for that matter,
offensive line.
I was going to say, I think they'd take their offensive line.
I mean, Penix is going to have that same question next year going, I got to throw to these receivers? Guys I was throwing to last year are pretty good.
And then let's go to the AFC. You tell me, when the Bills play the Dolphins on Sunday, will the Bills already be in the playoffs? The Bills need one of two teams to lose, and they'll be guaranteed a playoff spot. Saturday afternoon, late, Steelers at Ravens. They need the Steelers to lose. Baltimore's pretty much announced they ain't playing their guys. Now, they hate the Steelers, and the guys who play are going to play really hard. But they ain't playing their guys. Steelers or Ravens? One team's going to play their first stringers, and one team's not.
Right, but Pittsburgh's not playing all their first stringers anyhow. We're on quarterback number 3 with Mason Rudolph. When's he going to come back to reality?
Well, don't know. It's going to happen soon. Could happen late afternoon Saturday. Then again, he might be their best quarterback. He certainly, based on the last 2 weeks, is. But if the Steelers win, which would not be crazy, I mean, one team playing their regulars, one team not. One team highly motivated. One team, pride.
Vegas has Pittsburgh as a 3.5-point favorite on the road.
Correct. If Baltimore was playing their guys, what would they be? About a 9-point favorite in this game?
I think probably 6. I don't think it would be 9, but I think it would be 5 or 6.
I think it'd be over 7. But okay. So just right there. So let's just say Pittsburgh wins. Okay. Then the Bills need Jacksonville to lose at Tennessee, which I think is very much in play. Anybody see Vrabel's press conference yesterday?
I was just going to allude to that. Vrabel went fairly scorched earth on how much this year sucks and how he hates everything and everybody.
Listen, it's never good when the coach calls you by name when you're the one asking the question at one of these pressers. Have had that happen to me. It's usually not meant in a ha-ha jovial way. Listen, David. Oh, uh-oh. This ain't going to be nice. Listen, Moulton. I got to listen Moulton one time. Oh, boy. Rocky Hager, North Dakota State. Listen here, Moulton. Oh, boy. Here we go.
Was he coming at you?
No. I asked the question. He said, listen here, Moulton. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mondays at noon, the Rocky Hager weekly press conference, North Dakota State football. Oh, yeah. I liked Rocky a lot. So whoever the reporter's name was, his name's, whoever he is, his name's Gentry. And Mike Vrabel goes, blah, 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 Gentry. Starts firing off questions at you. You like losing? Oh, boy. Here we go. It's when all of a sudden in your mind, the Southwest Airlines commercial starts playing. Want to get away? So you tell me, Jacksonville at Tennessee. Do you think the Bills will have clinched a playoff spot before they kick off against the Dolphins? Because if not, if Pittsburgh and Jacksonville, 2 road teams, 2 road favorites, both win, the Bills are playing to be either the 2 or to be done. Nothing at stake here. Nothing to see here. Win, you're the 2 seed.
The whole AFC is rooting for the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, my goodness.
Nobody wants the Bills in the postseason.
No. Meanwhile, if one of those 2 things happen, the Dolphins, by beating the Bills, the reward is to play the Bills the next week.
I think the Bills are going to have to win to get in.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. And the Dolphins will be playing to either be the 2 or the 6. Either host whomever or go to Kansas City. Tarico Collinsworth, take it away.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Michael, that's almost a quarter of the league. That Denver Raiders game's in Vegas, right? I think I'd take the Raiders. They're going to play for that coach. They want him to get the gig. Let me tell you, if the Jags lose, I would have lost a lot of money on the Jags. Not getting to the over. There's no way I thought the Jags would win 10 games this year. Same with the Steelers. Pittsburgh wins, Buffalo loses. Steelers get in, they'll go to Miami.
Dolphins would love that.
I have a feeling we're going to get the Bucks, Eagles playoff game, and then I have a feeling we're going to get Ravens, Browns. If the Browns end up winning the 4-5 game. But I have a feeling.
First one's Monday night. Second one's Saturday.
Saturday. Most likely a Saturday. We're of the belief that Fox and CBS will get their Sunday days and times in the divisional round. That they'll give us probably the early game Saturday. They'll give NBC the night game Saturday. That's kind of our thinking. It's not.
You want to do? Do you have any predictions for 20? Yesterday we had so much to go over. Do you have any predictions for 2024 you want to get into here?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
David, which game would you want to be at?
Wherever the Dolphins are. That's where I would prefer, but there's no way they're going to give us if the Dolphins win. First off, I think we have to get a 4 or 5 wild card game. I think because of the way they do their schedule. So far, the 2 Monday night games that ABC has done have been 4 or 5 games. But I would prefer to get, whether the Dolphins are hosting someone or whether the Dolphins, if they win their wild card game, I would just like to see them play in person.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Dalton Miller, Pro Football Network, in a little more than 15 minutes time. Bud Elliott in a little more than an hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Trent Bally and the play of the day in a handful of minutes or thereabouts.
Thank you, Vanner. All right.
Yeah, just going a little old school there. CNN Headlines Sports.
And there are a lot of us right now listening, going, yep, 2 times an hour.
Yep. Oh, flip it over. I got to catch the score.
Yep.
Give me an update.
The 22 passed, I think.
Something like that.
22 and 52, something like that.
Yep. It's like the old days of sports phone. Kept calling up the 1-900. I got to get the Mets are on the West Coast. They're in the 9th. Got to get an update.
That's going back, but looking ahead, do you have any bold predictions for 2024 from a sports standpoint?
8 new coaches in the NFL. Now, I'm cheating a little bit because we're definitely going to have 3 because Carolina, Vegas, and the Chargers have already fired coaches. But I think we're going to have 8 of the 32 coaches who are currently in the league where they're at will be elsewhere. So that includes Belichick elsewhere. I've been on record all year as saying Washington. And
you thought Tomlin was going to be gone.
I'm sticking with it, even though Pat Kerwin insists, and he's got better information than me, insists that I'm wrong. Here's the thing, though. He's entering the final year of his contract. I actually think Mike wouldn't mind leaving. See, I think once again, he could win Saturday, 10-win season, finish strong, 17 years, never a losing season. Why would the Steelers want to get rid of him? There's a part of me, Mark, that thinks that deep down Tomlin knows, I don't know. I'm kind of at the end here. Think about it. I mean, he's not being given an elite team either. I think Mike may want to go somewhere and think, I may have a better chance to win a Super Bowl elsewhere. I've done pretty good work here, but they don't love me. They're never going to love me. How about if I go somewhere else where I'd be beloved? I mean, Mike could get, I don't know that Mike wants it, but Mike could get some power elsewhere. Like, you don't think Tepper in Carolina, what he would give for Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, there's only one job I'd leave the Pittsburgh Steelers for, and that's the LA Chargers. Of the jobs that are going to be available, I wouldn't leave Pittsburgh for Carolina. That's career suicide.
Well, and that's fine, but then Pittsburgh has to give him at least a 3-year extension. If you're Mike Tomlin, you want to do 3-4 more years in Pittsburgh?
Well, that is a great question because I'm not sure that he does.
Right.
But the alternatives are not that attractive.
I understand. So anyway, 8. Jim Harbaugh, by the way, will not be at Michigan.
Jim Harbaugh will be the next coach of the LA Chargers.
I believe so. I believe he will with a hand-picked general manager. Yes, I do.
You think there's any chance he just plays hardball and gets a ton of more money from Michigan?
He's already got the offer.
Yeah.
The ton of more money is sitting right there on the table. And I don't think it is as much with Michigan as it is with the NCAA. I think he's going to get popped. I think he knows it, and I think it's time for him to leave.
I also think deep down he knows I'm never going to put a better Michigan team together than the one I got. This is my best team. I'm not going to do better than this.
If by chance he leaves and they lose Monday, will his tenure at Michigan be deemed?
No. No. It'll be a success. Come on.
Well, no, I was going to say successful. That's and you
Yes.
said no.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go negative, but no,
No,
it will
no.
be. No, of course it will be considered successful. He will have left having overtaken Ohio State, having beaten them 3 times in a row. He will have taken it to the playoffs 3 times in a row, and he finally won a game. Yeah, they'll say, thank you very much. You're a Michigan man. You always will be. Thank you. To me, the interesting question is, who replaces him?
Totally. If he
Sharon Moore.
No way.
I know. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
It could be. No. I don't think it's a joke at all. I don't think it's a joke. But I actually think the guy that's going to replace him is the guy who's going to coach against him Monday. That, to me, is, he's a Michigan guy. He's from that part of the world. Those are his connections. And if you're Kalen DeBurs, all right, Washington or Michigan going forward?
Pick your poison in the Big Ten.
No. Michigan's a
of
far better job.
Of course.
It's not Oregon.
I'm making the Big Ten joke. That's all.
So, but anyway, so you want predictions? 8 new coaches. Harbaugh's one of them. He's leaving Michigan. And I think both Belichick and Tomlin will be elsewhere next year. Dodgers don't win the World Series. Despite Ohtani, despite Yamamoto. They don't have, right now, they don't have enough frontline starting pitching. They don't.
Who is winning the World Series then?
Well, once again, I'll put my money on the Braves. The irony is in the last 3 years, their worst team won it. But I'm once again, I'm just going on the Braves. Yep, boom. Here we go. It's my $20. They're going to win the East again. They're deep enough. They can sustain injuries. Hell, they won the East 1 year with 3 starters on the IL. So
when we're doing this show a year from now, hopefully, what conference is Florida State in?
They'll be in the ACC still. Okay. But,
will the exit have started?
Oh, yeah. Well, will they have found a new home? Will they have announced we have a deal with?
Well,
yes. Yes. I think that Florida State, a year from now, will already have a deal in place that they're going to the Big Ten. Yes.
Mark, do you agree or do you think SEC?
I think the Big Ten. I've thought the Big Ten for quite a while. Because I'm not convinced the SEC wants any more teams. Couple of predictions for you for 2024 from Miller and Moulton. Time now. Trent Bally and our play of the day brought to you by Molly Maid. Trent, what do you have for us?
You guys like greatness. I like greatness. I may take a little heat for this, given the subject matter, but I don't care because this was the top play from last night. We go to Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City, where it's a sellout crowd of 15,000 to watch Caitlin Clark. MSU is giving the number 4 Hawkeyes all they can handle. It's 73-all with seconds to play when Caitlin Clark said, "Do you know who I am?"
Davis, time winding down. Are they going to get the ball up in time? Clark for the win. Yeah! She does it time and time again. The 40 piece and alongside with the W.
40 piece. 8 3-pointers, none bigger than the walk-off from the logo. Although I will say that Hawkeye logo is obnoxious in size. But it's a logo 3 nonetheless. And like David said, if any of us tried to get out there and try to even hit the rim.
Hit the rim. Just go where she is on the court. Hit the rim.
She had the big block on the possession before. Michigan State got an offensive rebound, had a chance for the putback. She had the block shot to set up her 3 to win the game. And that's our play of the day, brought to you by Molly Maid. Call them today, 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839. And give your spouse the gift of a clean house.
Trent, you don't have to apologize for Caitlin Clark. She's
well, hey, sometimes I just
no.
never know.
Listen, how many female athletes that people will pay to see? How many female athletes in this country that men will stop what they're doing to watch? Caitlin Clark's one of them. Don't ever apologize for Caitlin Clark.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other. With a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
We're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, I think with that loss last night, Mark, they're 13-4. They'll make the tournament. Yeah, by the way, the only reason I said I might catch some heat for this is because if one thing is true, it has been proven that I don't always have a great pulse on what the Twitch chat room is going to want.
Here's the thing, and I will say this to all of them. You don't worry about what the Twitch chat room thinks.
I know.
You do you. They're going to give you hell no matter what you pick. Okay?
Yeah, it's part of their charm.
Oh, that's all true. I just, it's a little bit of a give and take. You don't want to just throw out a dud every day. But hey, logo 3 for the win. I will not be giving you any WNBA, though. I can tell you that.
Never say never.
Full court heave, game 7 for the win. It's about what it would take. Okay, I think it was Dalton who I had trouble with last time, so hopefully no issues this time.
Mhm.
This whole kids out of school this week's ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Get them back in, get them out of school a week earlier. That's the thing that they're.
At the very least, they should be back in today. I mean, if for whatever reason you got New Year's and I don't know, travel day or get reacquainted day, whatever. But by today, come on. You got 3 days left in the week. Get them in school. Let's go.
But instead, we'll go to June 11th or whatever. And
yeah.
So we can get it. And then the thing is, you got next Monday off too.
Right? It's another reason to get them in school. Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
He's got Dalton.
Bierman's got COVID.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Apparently, he says he's hit pretty hard with it. So.
Good on Dalton.
Oh, Collier's back in? So it's a Lee thing? Could be a nightmare next year, Mark. Christmas and New Year's are on a Wednesday.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
On this hump day, thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Seth Everett, Bud Elliott in our Grade 8 hour and our Diamond District bonus hour. Dalton Miller, kind enough to join us, Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com. Follow he on Twix, Twitter/X at Dalton, the letter B Miller, Dalton B Miller. Dalton, it's David and Mark. A belated Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year, gentlemen. I'm fantastic. How about yourselves?
Well, we're doing fine, and we say this with all affection. You're a draft nerd, as are we. What'd you think of Mr. Penix and his performance?
You know, Penix is a difficult case because I think what you see from him is a lot of the things, a lot of the flash that you look at the deep ball specifically and say, I mean, he just throws an absolutely perfect deep ball. He has such a great rapport with all three of those wide receivers, particularly down the field. There are some inconsistencies in his quick game. Underneath stuff, his footwork is kind of a mess at times. It affects his accuracy in the short to intermediate areas at times. I think that the arm strength is pretty good overall. I think that he is athletic enough to be, that guy that can pick up a third down if you give him an alley to work with. But then you look at the injury history with him, you look at the age, and you wonder just how high he's going to be able to go in the draft. I think that he's one of those guys who late in the first round, if the team is looking, if they missed on their guy in the first round, look up to trade up into the back of the first. But I don't really think that whatever happens in these playoffs, I don't think that he's going to be able to necessarily elevate himself into that same sort of discussion that Jaden Daniels did this year. But definitely all due respect to him because he is a fantastic player.
Well, the NFL sent a video out yesterday trying to justify calls made at the end of the Dallas-Detroit game. Just your thoughts on the whole thing. Now the video coming out and everything that's going on. The NFL really has doubled down on their officials being right.
And they put him back on national television, and I don't understand this at all. I don't understand how you can make that decision. That's a clue that, and we talk about this all the time, and they talk about this all the time, that there are checks and balances put in place that are going to punish crews that make those sorts of mistakes. Listen, if somebody misses a defense pass interference or somebody misses a holding call, it's completely different than getting the person wrong on the tripping call, getting the team wrong on the tripping call, and then screwing up that 2-point conversion. Those are unacceptable mistakes. Those are going through the motions mistakes that you cannot have in big games like that. So I don't understand how you can put his crew back on national television.
The significance of the win, though, for the Cowboys. I mean, we thought that basically all hope was lost of them winning the East and being the 2. We thought they were going to be the 5 and have to play on the road, and they're the only unbeaten home team. And right now, they're a win against the Commanders away, Dalton, from having 2 home playoff games.
Yeah, and you absolutely have to love it because I think the biggest thing with all of this and the Cowboys were of not being in a NFC Championship game dating back to 1995. This means that they avoid the San Francisco 49ers until the conference championship game if they make it there. So that just alone for the Dallas Cowboys fans everywhere is a sigh of relief. I think that when you look at potential matchups for them particularly, I personally wouldn't want to see the Rams. I think that they're the worst matchup for the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody else, you can feel pretty good about overall. And I know that Dallas beat Los Angeles pretty badly early in the season, but Matthew Stafford got hurt at one point in that game, and they were without Kyron Williams for that game as well. So I think that he makes a big difference in the run game, and Dallas's run defense has not been very good all year. They're actually dead last in rushing success rate. So that's a team that can run the ball in the first round, the wild card round. It's a team that they do not want to see.
Who's the team that you're most likely to disappoint in the playoffs? Everybody has expectation for teams, but who's the team you think may disappoint in the playoffs?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I think you have to. It's tough because we don't know what's going to happen in the AFC yet. We don't know if Buffalo's going to be the 2 seed. We don't know if they're going to be out of the playoffs. There are so many things that can happen in the AFC. But I do think that the Miami Dolphins, that Bradley Chubb injury was huge. And if they have trouble protecting Tua, they could be one of the teams that could be upset early. I think that, if it's the Pittsburgh Steelers there in the 7th seed, I think that they get by there. But I think that you would probably look at them to win the next matchup outside of that. But I think when you're looking at the other teams in the playoffs, they're going to be going up against probably Kansas City in the second round. I think personally, the Browns are actually the second best team in the AFC. They just are dealing with Baltimore as the division winner there. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But I would have to put my money on Miami most likely.
Well, Cleveland's already gone into Baltimore once. Granted, it was with Deshaun Watson playing the hero role in the fourth quarter, overcoming some early game mistakes, and the Browns won. Just right now, nobody else getting hurt for either team. How do you think Cleveland matches up with Baltimore?
Well, I think they're a good matchup overall just because they can rush the passer and they can cover their tails off. The one thing that you've seen with that defense, from last year to this year is Jim Schwartz has really allowed those secondary members to just be better athletes and be better coverage guys in man than they are in zone coverage. They just let him, be athletes. And I think his games on the front line, being able to use Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith in some really interesting ways has helped out that defense tremendously, because I still think, when you look at them up the middle, I think that they're a little bit weak in that second tackle spot, and then they're really light at linebacker. And I think that they're super athletic in that level, but it's a really fun defense to watch fly around to the football. And I do think that they match up pretty well with Baltimore overall. But when you look at the way that Baltimore has played recently, and I know that they just absolutely trounced Miami, but even before that, being able to go and beat San Francisco handily, I didn't see that happening. I didn't see Baltimore being able to keep it together towards the end of the season, just because we haven't seen that from them over the past couple of years. They've kind of faded away towards the end. And it's just really exciting to see what this team is able to accomplish when everybody stays relatively healthy.
And Dalton, not just you, David and I think most people that cover the league were that way with Baltimore. Did we really miss Baltimore? Because when coming into the San Francisco game, obviously they were a slight underdog. They felt disrespected, but they had beaten every team that was good handily. And seeing what they did then to San Francisco and now Miami, did we just miss on Baltimore because of revisionist history?
Maybe a little bit, but I think more than anything, it was probably just the respect that we had for the San Francisco 49ers, what they've done against some really good football teams this year. I mean, absolutely trouncing the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles. And, the Eagles don't look like a very good team anymore. And what we've seen from the 49ers is, a lot like the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. They beat the crap out of these teams. And then these teams have kind of, a lot of them, the Dallas Cowboys are kind of the exception. Philadelphia Eagles kind of fell apart a little bit. The Jaguars just, kind of leaking oil a little bit towards the end of the season. And the 49ers just really beat up on some really good football teams. There's a reason why they have the best scoring differential in the NFL. So I do think that it was probably more out of respect for them than it was disrespect for Baltimore. But I do think just generally going into the season, a lot of people overlooked Baltimore when it came to the AFC dominance.
He's Dalton Miller, Pro Football Network, ProFootballNetwork.com. You can follow Dalton on Twix, Twitter/X at Dalton B. Miller, Dalton the letter B. Miller. When you look at the Eagles on tape, I mean, there certainly seems to be a little bit of disharmony with the team. But on tape, what is it that you're seeing that's drastically different from a year ago at this time?
The middle of their defense. The middle of their defense is just really bad. And Howie Roseman has always just completely avoided the linebacker position. He hates it. If he could play with no linebackers on the field, I think that he would. But you still need some good linebacker play, even if it is relatively inexpensive linebacker play. And then they haven't really been able to figure out safety. They went out and tried to get Kevin Byard, but Byard isn't really, the middle of that defense hasn't played very well. And then they went into the season banking once again on two cornerbacks who are over 30 years old. And that's just not a very good bet overall. You can hope and pray that the plus 30 corner is going to be able to keep up. But James Bradbury has been terrible this year. And so when you have one side of the defense in the third level that really can't cover very well, and then you have a soft middle of the field, you're really, really hoping and praying that defensive line is going to be able to get home early and often, and they just haven't really been able to do that. On top of, they haven't been fantastic against the run this year either, and a lot of that comes down to, again, the linebacker play hasn't been great.
Detroit had a nice defensive effort. I know they lost the game, but they made one of their better defensive efforts against Dallas. Is that something they can repeat in the postseason, or was that just an inspired effort for one night, if you know what I mean?
It's going to be really interesting because I do think that, I think getting that safety position works out and maybe finding something in Ifeatu Melifonwu on the back end is good for them, because I think, again, with them, safety play has really kind of fallen apart in the second half of the season. Their defense has been horrific since the bye week in week 9. But I think more than anything, they really struggle with mobile quarterbacks. So like the Chicago Bears were just not a very good matchup for them overall. And then when you look at, kind of what the Dallas Cowboys are, I do think that it was a good defensive effort overall. I think that more than anything, the Lions defense is very much like a game flow type of defense where, maybe they can turn it on every once in a while. But most games, like if their offense is moving the football a little bit, it's just going to turn into a track meet for some reason, unless they can consistently get pressure. And the problem with that is that aside from Aiden Hutchinson, they don't have that complementary guy that is able to take the pressure off of Hutchinson as a pass rusher.
Tony Romo said late in the Chiefs win over the Bengals that the Chiefs can still get back to the Super Bowl. They just have to do it with the way they're playing now, which is ball control on offense and relying on their defense more. Do you agree?
Anything's possible. Anything is possible, but I do think when you look at them overall, they're probably the fourth best team in the AFC, and that's something that we have not seen from the Kansas City Chiefs or anything close to being the fourth best team in the AFC since Patrick Mahomes became the starting quarterback there. So I think it's been fun to watch their defense really step it up this year and be really great all year. But when you're wide receivers, when you have to ask and wonder every single time Patrick Mahomes drops back if they're going to just catch the football and do the right thing, it's just hard for me to really feel good about that team in the playoffs.
He's Dalton Miller, Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com. You can follow him on Twix at Dalton, the letter B, Miller, Dalton B. Miller. You can follow Pro Football Network on Twix at PFN365, PFN365. Dalton, as always, thanks so much for your time.
As always, thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Dalton Miller joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton.
It is wild when, he's talking about the AFC. Cleveland's the second best team. It sounds like he believes Buffalo's the third best team if they get into the postseason.
Right. Was probably the Dolphins until all their injuries. I'm just going to throw this out. I don't think Miami can beat Buffalo twice in a row. I don't. But if you're a Dolphin fan, if you can beat Buffalo and if Pittsburgh and Jacksonville can take care of business so that you eliminate the Bills, now you get the Steelers at home. And then you'd likely get the Chiefs. Come on now, even banged up. That's doable. You've lost one home game, and that was the final 4-minute debacle to Tennessee. I mean, if you're Miami, you can still do this, if you know what I mean. But you probably need Pittsburgh and Jacksonville to hold up their end of the deal. You don't want Pittsburgh to lose the first game on Saturday and go, great. If we win, we get to see him again.
We get to play him again.
Right.
Right back here. They might as well just stay for the week.
Right. They might as well not even play their guys. They can rest up, be the 7. So we all know it comes down. You need the little breaks. Dallas got a huge break, not only from the officiating, but from Arizona beating the Eagles. You need breaks. Seth Everett is next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yo.
Hi, Seth.
What's up?
How's life back at home?
It's nice. It's nice.
You didn't get very good weather while you were down here, did you?
No, we got crappy weather.
It's been crappy for a few weeks.
Yeah, we had an eventful trip. Our dog was rejected at the airport.
Yes,
right. You said that last week.
That had happened.
And then I had to come back early.
Right, because of the dog.
Because of the dog.
Can't board the dog?
What?
Can't board the dog?
I'll tell you what. I'll give you her phone number. You call her and ask her about that same question.
Okay. Because, I mean, fortunately, that was one thing that the wife and I agreed upon. We boarded the dog. Now, I wanted to give the dog just standard, wife set the dog up in like a condo. I mean, we were paying, at one point I offered to spend the night where the dog is. Okay, that's how nice it was. So,
it's funny when I picked my dog up, because it's not cheap, obviously, as we all know, to board the dog. I went and pulled my credit card out. And the lady says, "Do you want me to just use a credit card on file?" Which I knew wasn't mine. I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely. You can use my wife's credit card for that. No problem. She can pay that bill.
Well, we have somebody that watches him that he knows, and originally she was going to be in California, so that's why we said, oh, let's just bring him.
Right.
And he had flown before, so the message is you just need to have consistency. Have rules. We'll follow the rules. If we don't follow the rules, it's garbage.
By the way, to Mark in our Twitch chat room, good morning, Happy New Year. Seth Michael says it's a huge match Sunday, Arsenal and Liverpool.
Yeah, but it's the FA Cup. It's not the Premier League. We need to play them in the Premier League. It's a big game. You want to win it, but I'd rather play them in the Premier League right now.
Gotcha.
You like my new coffee mug?
I do.
Oh, why is that new?
Because I just started drinking coffee.
You started drinking coffee?
Yeah, going to be 50. I figured first 50 years, no coffee.
What was your drink of choice in the morning? Did you have a caffeinated beverage, or you a Mountain Dew guy?
For 18 years, I was a Mountain Dew addict. But in 2014, I quit Mountain Dew. And ever since then, I don't know, just doing whatever. But I found espresso. I love Cuban food and I love Cuban restaurants, and I had a Cuban coffee and that's espresso. And I was like, wait a minute. And then there's espresso machines. And so my wife likes lattes. So we were like, let's get an espresso machine and try it. And I'm having a blast. It's
nice.
Super fun.
So do you get
the coffee thing?
You get the Latin coffee, the Latin espresso, as opposed to the French espresso, so you can do the.
Well, a
Cuban
buddy of mine sent me coffee before he knew that we even drinked it, and so we've been drinking this Costa Rican coffee in the morning, and it's been a hoot. It's been good. I'm buzzing.
Cuban coffee is jet fuel.
Yep.
Nothing like pouring 4 or 5 tablespoons of sugar in with espresso and saying, "Here you go."
See. Giddy up.
In fact, I bought helped a family get a house, young kid, and the dad was with me. You want to come back to the house? And I'm like, sure. You don't say no. A whole Cuban family had a couple beers with them, and after like 2 beers, mom's like, "You want some coffee?" I'm like, "Absolutely, I want some coffee. Let's go."
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network. The Diamond District bonus hour awaits 1 hour from now. Bud Elliott in a little more than a half an hour. But you know how we roll on a hump day at this time. It's Seth Everett, Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Seth_Everett. A belated Happy New Year. How was Boca?
It was lovely. We hung out in the clubhouse. We played the shuffleboard. We didn't do any of that.
I was going to press you because, outdoor shuffleboard's underrated. Sure, you can mock it.
Let's go to the phones.
I love where we go on this segment. Okay. No. I want you to outdoor shuffleboard is underrated. Go.
It is. It's a fun game. There's nothing wrong with it. It's easy. You can have a beer in your hand the whole time.
The socks with the sandals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Allowed. Maybe you even get an extra point for it, Seth. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and then like the button-down shirt that's open and the wife beater underneath.
Didn't know we were playing bocce, but either way, you can wear it for either sport.
There's a restaurant in New York City, El Vagabondo, it's called. It's on the east side, and when I traveled with the Mariners, that's where the Mariners went. So that was their go-to place. So then when I moved back to New York, anytime I had visitors, that's where I took them. And there's a bocce court in the middle of the restaurant. And my friend, who's the pre and post game host of the Huskies, the Washington Huskies, my friend Dave, we take him to this restaurant and he shouts in the restaurant, "Who's up for strip bocce?" I will never forget that image my whole life.
Did anybody take him up on it?
No, but
okay.
I love that he said it. I love that he did it.
I mean, it is the east side. I mean, you can get a yes on the east side.
That's right.
I mean, you really can. West side, a little uptight. East side, you can get a yes on the east side. You really can. For the record, ladies and gentlemen, Mark last hour was looking for predictions. 2024. It's first of the year. We're going to do new things. Seth Everett has introduced coffee into his life for the first time. You're turning 50, correct?
In 2 months, yeah.
And now is the first time you're going coffee?
Yeah, I never used to like it. And then when I started working in this crazy industry, I was producing a morning show and I started drinking Mountain Dew. And I drank Mountain Dew for literally 18 years. And on my social media back years ago, I had my last Mountain Dew and I quit it. And I did this whole thing. And ever since then, I've just kind of been meandering, but I've been an espresso guy. I'm a big fan of the espresso, not the Maxwell House Folgers coffee that I grew up with. That stuff's gross, but this little shot of espresso that works for me.
It's a good thing to go to. Now, how far away are you from Domino's now that you're doing the Cuban coffee in the morning? How long before you grab a newspaper and you're playing Domino's on the corner somewhere down in Boca Vista there?
Yeah, that's right. Abuelito, I mean,
I don't know if you're in the right neighborhood in Jersey for that, but there's got to be one close by.
That's funny. That's pretty good.
Well, you got anything new for 2024? Mark put me on the spot last hour. He's like, make predictions. Give us something.
Okay.
So what do you got? Anything?
No, I heard you guys. I thought of it. First of all, the Syracuse Orange will make the NCAA tournament.
In basketball?
In basketball. Yep. Yeah.
First time since 71 last night that Bayheimer Coach K wasn't coaching the Duke.
It was weird. That and the fact that the students aren't back at Duke yet, and so the Cameron Crazies weren't there. It was like, it felt like an exhibition game. It was really weird, but it was a 3-point game for about 3/4 of the game, and then Duke went on like this 14-0 run at the end. That's okay. That's not our bar. If you're talking about best 65 teams in the nation, they are 40th. They're in the tournament, and from an alum standpoint, that's enough for me.
I'll make that bet with you. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think Syracuse and Villanova are both very interesting teams this year because their highs could be really good, but their lows can also be pretty low. And they'll both be very interesting come early March, should they be in or out teams.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm very interested in is I want to see the system that they create. I read this article. I think I might have sent you guys a text. Just this idea that when the SEC and Big Ten finally realign and they get their new TV deal for the first round of the college football playoff, do they just leave the NCAA altogether? And that they're not ruled by any kind of rules, and it really is like the Super League, like what we've talked about in the past in Europe. I'm interested in seeing that, and I want to know: is it going to be that if you win your conference, if you're a B-level conference and you win, then you get into the playoff, but at-large bids are all going to be SEC and Big Ten teams? If that's the case, and that really is the thing. College football is going to be so lame for the little guy. It's really bad. And as great a games as you saw Monday night, go Huskies, go Huskies, go Huskies. The idea that there's no chance of a St. Peter's, quote unquote, air quotes,
but there's never been
in college football.
But there's never been. There's too many people. There's too many people. You know, you need 5 for basketball. You need 85 for football.
No, I understand
There's
that.
never been a little guy. There's hardly ever been a middle class. I mean, the Boise States of the world that have emerged in the last 30
Cincinnati,
years.
yeah.
I mean, that's even considered remarkable.
And they can win a game. I think really the point is look at the teams that went to the Big 12 from the group of 5. They finished last and second to last. Cincinnati was last. BYU, UCF,
Houston,
and Houston were tied for second to last. They won, 2 conference games each, and Cincinnati won 1 conference game. That's going from the best group of 5 conference in the country to the worst Power 5 conference, and they couldn't win any games in that conference. So it's just the system's not set up for it.
The whole thing's just interesting, and
Seth, what I will find interesting is like if you're a Syracuse alum, if Syracuse is not included in the Super League, how are you going to feel about that? Number one, and the other thing is that, I mean, college football, and you got to think basketball is going to be 5 yards down the road, right? I mean, this is basically now the NFL. I mean, that's what college football is about to become. And is the college fan going to be okay with that?
Well, but your question is very appropriately worded. How would that make me feel? It would make me feel like I have some level of certainty. As crappy as it might be, give me some certainty. Don't tease me with this Florida State mishigash. This idea that, Florida State, look, you saw what happened to Florida State against Georgia.
No, come on now.
Oh,
come on now.
It's a lame argument, Seth. They 24 players opted out. They did not have a close.
No, that's not where I'm going.
It was
that's not where I'm going.
All right.
My point being is that Florida State believed that they are on the same level playing field. Make it so we're not. Make it so that the ACC team that has a magical season doesn't have that delusion of grandeur. That's my only argument.
Okay. So you want the college football system to set up. So we think the ACC is going to get blown up, and those that go to the SEC and the Big Ten go, and those that are left behind know we're in the B.
We're in the B League.
Okay.
Right. That's my point. That was my only point on. To me, don't give me the hope and a dream that I'm in the same system as those guys.
So do you want a spot in the playoff, though? Do you want one spot reserved for you where you win your B League conference and you get the 11 seed in a 12 seed tournament?
Well, in Europe, the Premier League exists. That doesn't really exist. However, they have this tournament called the FA Cup, and it's an opportunity for a smaller team to go on a Cinderella run, like a St. Peter's. And you can have that. So would I think that's the bonus prize? If you win your conference, if you win your B-level conference, there should be a trophy. That's your victory. That's your victory. And start thinking small. And it's 2024. By 2034, when we have the flying car, do me a favor and just temper the enthusiasm. Don't put me in a position where if I have this magic season, all these Florida State people start screaming, we're just as good as all these teams, because you're not.
If by 2034 we have the flying car, how long will it be before my flying car turns into a briefcase?
Oh,
and
stop this crazy thing.
Will it be a driverless flying car?
There was a Kevin Smith short film where they talked about the flying car, I think 15 years ago. And my line on the podcast on Sports with Friends, I always say, if you're listening to this now, whatever the date is, but if you're listening to this in the future, let me know how the flying car is.
He's Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Seth_Everett. All right. Got about 90 seconds. What do you got?
For Sports with Friends, we're doing a lot of college sports. We're talking about NIL and the transfer portal with a sports business professor named David Kelly from the University of Cincinnati. The reason why was he attended a conference with all the athletic directors of high school sports about NIL and the transfer portal. What are they teaching high school kids now? I found that fascinating, and it's a really interesting discussion.
Okay.
It's 95% done. It'll be done in by like 45 minutes. But yeah, that's Sports with Friends. Sports with Friends is pretty darn interesting. Hall of Justice is a gentleman by the name of Nelson Lee, who's been on the podcast before. Nelson, this past year, was in Star Wars. He was in the Ahsoka series, and he was in a scene with another Hall of Justice veteran and Anthony Daniels, who played C-3PO. That's a really cool story on how he found out he was going to be in Star Wars. So that's on the Hall of Justice.
There you go. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice.
Coming out swinging in 2020.
Yeah. Way to go there, big fella. You ended strong, and now you're starting strong.
Oh,
Keep it up.
Both podcasts came out great.
Good luck to your Devils tonight. The Caps, by the way, are 8-0-1 when playing back-to-back. So you got
Devils
tonight on TNT. Devils and Caps. Seth Everett.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Can we come back with a little Rory?
Okay.
Rory gave an interview in which he pulled a Marissa Tomei. Come on, say it. You can say it. I was wrong.
Really?
Yes.
After he's playing in Dubai next week to start
Well, and not only that, he's won in Dubai like 3 times. The DP World Tour Championship in Dubai a couple of years ago, I believe.
I will tell you, I talked with somebody very involved in sponsorship of PGA Tours, and they had an opportunity to sponsor an event and didn't do it. Money-wise, it's just ridiculous to get a B-level event. You know, it's interesting, Johnny O. I should look into that. Maybe I get Peacock. Or can get Peacock.
course, I don't know if I want Peacock. It's going to be tough for me to watch sports on streaming if you just can't, takes too long to go from, that's a problem.
I'm the same way. I can't stand it.
Now, maybe the one NFL playoff game, I'm glued in. There's nothing else. But,
it does force you to have 2 TVs in your living room.
Yep. Because you can't flip through like we were
That's
talking
not-
about a couple weeks ago.
That's not going to happen in mine, unfortunately.
Come on now.
I don't
She moved
see
to
it.
Jacksonville. You put another TV in there. I mean, it seems like a pretty easy trade.
Yeah, I know. It's probably something I needed to do right away. I didn't foresee the problem. I'm probably just going to have to go to my room. That's the problem.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Bud Elliott to join us to talk the college football semifinals that were and the championship game that will be. Also to talk Florida State, how much, if at all, the 63-3 loss to Georgia will impact them in this year's transfer portal and going forward. Bud Elliott coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Can I switch gears entirely?
Okay.
Well, I wanted to ask. I mean, we are like pulling the car over and getting in a completely different vehicle to then do the next stretch of our trip. And then with Bud Elliott, we will get back in the car we're used to driving. So I just wanted to make sure it was okay.
What is this, 24 hours of Le Mans? Our backup car ready?
It's Gumball Rally. What's
There you go.
behind you is not important. Rory McIlroy, in an interview that is just being released, admits maybe I was wrong. At the very least, I was too judgmental. And this LIV thing, I guess it's okay. Quote, I was maybe a little judgmental of the guys who went to LIV golf at the start, and I think it was a bit of a mistake on my part because I now realize that not everyone's in my position or Tiger's position. We all turn professional to make a living playing the sports that we do, and I think that's what I realized over the last 2 years. I can't judge people for making that decision. So if I regret anything, it was probably being too judgmental at the start. Now there's more, but what do you think of that?
It's difficult for me to take much of what Rory says at face value anymore.
Why is that?
Because you can't go scorched earth for that long and then have an epiphany one day when you're this close to a merger and now the tour needs that money. Or they need someone's money.
I also think the whole Ryder Cup experience, I really think that's at play here. That the European Ryder Cup team, we've talked about it. They're tight. Okay. And even though they kicked our butt again, okay, not having Stenson, not having Poulter, not having Sergio, and having Rahm, and now in theory, you're not going to have Rahm going forward. I think the Ryder Cup and the love that these guys have for each other, that clearly we don't have for each other on our side, I really think this is a little bit at play here. Like supposedly Sergio and Rory worked it out. Poulter and Rory worked it out. I wonder if the Ryder Cup has a role in this at all. Here's what he also said, Mark. I've gone through the last 2 years with this altruistic approach where I've looked at the world the way I wanted to see it. And ultimately, you can say what you want and do what you want, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to change people's minds. You're never going to make them decide based on what you say. I wouldn't say I've lost the fight against LIV, but I've just accepted the fact that this is part of our sport now. He also went on to.
I think he did lose the fight with Live Golf. I think John Rahm leaving was the last straw of the PGA having lost this battle, because when the merger happened, I don't think anybody saw defections coming. And the fact that Rahm left while merger talks were going around leads me to believe that this merger is not nearly as close as they think it is. And that now the PGA Tour is having to figure out what to do, whether it's with Piff or with somebody else. And I think they've changed their course of how they're fighting this.
Well, and I don't know how you saw Rahm's move. Forget the money, okay? Because Rahm was going to make $200-300 million if he stayed in the States. So, he'll make more now by doing what he's doing, fine. But I believe Rahm left because Rahm sees, LIV's not going anywhere. The world of golf in the second half of this decade is going to be the PGA Tour. It's going to be LIV, and it might be this, and it might be this. And I think Rahm sees it as the PGA Tour is just going to be a U.S. thing. I'm worldwide. And give it a couple years, and guess what? Those of us on the LIV will be allowed to play in PGA Tour events. So
they have to, David, because these fields for the non-elevated events
aren't
watchable.
Well,
you have to be a die-hard golf person to know who these players are, let alone to get into it.
Well, more than that, Mark, because golf fan will watch golf. They will. Now, the casual fan will not, but the hardcore golfers at your country club, they'll watch anybody up on the screen. But you can't get sponsors to sponsor the fields that are now going to be 2/3 of the tournaments.
They still haven't replaced Honda.
Right. Who walked away from Charlotte? Wells Fargo just walked away from Charlotte. That was one of the 10 biggest tour events on the PGA Tour. Wells Fargo walked away? I mean, outside of the majors, that was like one of the 3-4 biggest tournaments on tour.
And think about where we are in sports right now. The amount of people that are watching live sports has never been greater. It's the only programming that's working. And yet in golf, they're having a difficult time keeping title sponsors to events. Because the audience is, you know what, David, you actually hit the nail right on the head. The audience is the guys I play golf with at country club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're old. I'm not trying to be flippant, but it's an older audience. It used to be when pre-COVID, when you lived in a world where there was more business travel, you were getting an affluent audience in golf. You're still getting an affluent audience, but it's not spending money the way it used to.
Final quotes from Rory. I'd never have an offer from LIV. I didn't engage with them when they came to me. And at this point, I think I've set my stall out. The numbers are unbelievable. And we've seen the stuff that's happening in football and F1. So they're getting into sport. They're getting the World Cup in 2034. So they're making a huge splash in the entire world of sport. It's no different than what the UAE have done in the past. And what is it that you and I have brought up in the last 2 years? You and I have been open-minded to LIV, and we've taken a lot of angry text in social media because of it. But one of the things we pointed out is, first off, all the China money that's on the PGA Tour. But secondly, wait a minute, the DP World Tour is playing their tour championships in Dubai, and Rory's playing 2 events a year in Dubai. What's the difference? And I know we can get into it, but you know what we're getting at here. It's like, come on, it's there's not much different. It's a first cousin. Come on, it's close. And so for Rory to say that, LIV ain't going anywhere. I was too judgmental. And to be honest with you, what the Saudis are doing, well, that's basically what UAE's been doing. And what he doesn't say, he doesn't have to, is, and I've been a big supporter of what they've been doing for the last 10 years. That's Rory McIlroy saying this, by the way.
Boy, he really must need that PIP money that they're giving to the players who do the most for the PGA Tour.
Are you predicting that maybe so Rahm made the move for 2024? Does Rory make the move in 2025?
No,
Okay.
no, he'll just keep getting that fund that the PGA Tour has, that extra money they give out for social media awareness or whatever the hell it is.
Right.
Miller and Moulton. We'll switch gears back. We'll get back in the other car and talk college football with Bud Elliott next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. The Dorset run was today. It's a Monday night game. I remember watching it live.
Cowboys only had 10 men on the field and scored. By the way, the PGA Tour, I mean, Rahm won't sue, but, he hasn't played yet on the LIV Tour, and they've suspended him. Like in the past, they waited till you teed off, and then as soon as you teed off, they released a statement saying you're suspended. Rahm is like the defending champion in like 3 of the first 7 events on the PGA Tour this year. I mean, he would have played in at least those 3 events. I think it's very short-sighted of the PGA Tour. Can't imagine the sponsors are happy. I think he's defending champion of the one they're playing this week. Here's the funny thing. He might get voted PGA Tour Player of the Year for 2023. Who are they going to change the vote to now? Do you have to click on Bud, or are we waiting on Bud?
I'm waiting on Bud. He's not here yet.
Okay.
I sent him the invite. If Seth got it, Bud got it.
My buddy said Cognizant has replaced Honda.
They have? Okay.
Who is Cognizant?
Don't know.
I guess they're technology.
That's a big ticket item. And Bud.
Gotcha.
All right, well, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour." Thanks so much for being with us. Final segment along the network, Miller and Moulton. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. The Diamond District bonus hour awaits at the top of the hour. Pat Chambers, FGCU men's basketball coach, coming off the huge upset of FAU over the weekend. They begin conference play tomorrow. He'll join us at the top of the hour. Bud Elliott, kind enough to join us right now. We'll put the semifinals to bed. We'll look ahead to Michigan and Washington. Bud, a belated Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year, guys. It's a pretty good semifinals. I like the Washington Texas one, and the Bama Michigan one was, I think it was exciting and close. I don't know if it was super well played, but it was certainly, we had some drama.
What surprised you the most about the Alabama-Michigan game?
I think how Michigan had a very narrow path for its offense to have success, and how disciplined it was with sticking with that path, and the amount of trouble that Alabama had adjusting to what Michigan was doing offensively, right? In terms of, we're going to go with a lot of tight formations. We're going to motion out of those. We're going to see just how well Alabama can make their calls to get into zone, right? Which is kind of what you need to do to defend those. Otherwise, you have guys in man chasing somebody across the formation and creating some natural picks with your own defenders. And Michigan really never panicked and got away from that. And I thought that was smart. Like they just like, hey, this is the way that we can score the ball on this Alabama defense, and we need to stick with it.
I was surprised. Michigan showed their hand. I thought it certainly by midway through the game, in which they were bringing the heat.
Yeah.
If by chance their front four wasn't delivering it on its own, they were bringing at least 5, if not 6, all the time. I thought we'd see more wide receiver screens, more slants. I mean, where was the blitz beaters, if you know what I mean?
So I thought that Michigan was disrespectful to Jalen Milroe, and Milroe, from a passing standpoint, did not make them pay. Right? Some of those early sacks, they had 7 sacks on the day. A good number of those are on the quarterback, right? Like some of those early sacks, they were outnumbered. The quarterback has to know he's hot. We have 5 to pick up 5, right? Somebody's going to come free most likely on this, or we have 3 to block 4 to this side. As the QB, you have to know you're hot. And I go back to what happened over the summer, right? Alabama goes through spring practice. They take Tyler Buckner in the portal because they were so concerned in what they had in Milroe. And I think in a big game setting, this hurt them. It hurt them against Georgia, to be honest. Like if they don't get that bad call where the ball bounced on the turf and the refs, for whatever reason, didn't review it, they probably only score in the teens against Georgia and are not there in that semifinal game. So Michigan's like, hey, if you can beat us as a passer, do it. We'll let you. And he never really could. I don't think Bama trusts him to throw some of these blitz beaters, to be honest. I also thought Michigan...
To throw a slant? I mean, come on. I mean, that's what I'm looking at, bud.
David, they don't let him throw the ball over the middle of the field.
I know.
They know he can't read it.
Well, come on. It's man-to-man coverage. You got the guy in the slot. You run a slant. I mean, McCarthy's receivers were dropping them, but he knew what to run on 3rd and 9 when they were blitzing. You run a slant.
Bill O'Brien was right. This is sort of part of the reason, by the way, why I think a lot of people were incredulous that the committee's like, yeah, Alabama's clearly better. I'm like, they don't really have a quarterback, right? I'm not saying they're running Wildcat, but it's not that far off. That kid will play tight end in the NFL, not quarterback, right? Like, I think that's the reason why some folks were so mad. I will give Michigan a lot of credit for this, too. I think Michigan did a great job of anticipating what Alabama thought Michigan was going to run defensively and running different things. So in the first half, Bama blocked it like Michigan was going to copy the Georgia plan, and Michigan did not. In the second half, Michigan actually ran a lot of the Georgia plan after Alabama had gone to a lot of their more heavy sets. And I thought that was interesting because if you watch it, Bama comes out 4 wide, detached tight end, back. They're sending them to flats all the time, right? Like they're motioning to a lot of empty. And it was like Michigan's like, hey, I bet you they think we're going to run the Georgia plan. So we're not. And they guessed right a whole lot in that first half. They outcoached Alabama. Like they threw paper every time Alabama threw rock.
Yeah, I thought Milroe would run more in the. I thought there would be more design runs in the first half, of which they did more in the second half and were successful. They didn't do a lot in the first half when all the pressure was coming. I thought that could have alleviated some of Michigan's pressure of what they were getting. But at the end of the day, Michigan outplayed them the whole game. And to David's point, they don't drop a few balls during the game. They could have won this game by a greater margin.
But I was worried that they were only up 13-10 at the half because I'm like, wow, they have whooped them, and they're only up 3.
Yeah. Special teams were huge. I mean, if you look at like the EPA stuff in this game, Bama had like plus 13 EPA in special teams. That's an incredible number. I mean, if Michigan gets neutral special teams, it's probably a blowout. But they didn't. Bama's punter was incredible, and also Michigan's just dropping punts out here. So,
They almost lost a national semifinal on a muffed punt that was 2 feet away from a safety.
I will give credit to that kid for not panicking in the moment after he dropped it, right? Like to have the presence of mind. Okay, I've got like 2 seconds to regather this ball, catch it, not willingly run into the end zone, right? After already touching it and just get down, secure the ball, and he's going to get drilled. And he did. I thought that was key. But also, why are we having anybody return that punt?
Thank you. Just let it go.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to sound like old guy on the lawn here. Why are you in the shotgun from the 2-foot line? I'm like, oh my goodness, they're going to lose on a safety.
That was surprising to me, especially because the whole holding in the end zone type thing. If you get a holding while you're in the end zone, that tells me that their best short yardage play, like the one that they feel the most confident in, is that play. And they just feel like they can block it. It is surprising.
He's Bud Elliott, 24/7, CBS Sports HQ, Nolecast, Cover 3 podcast. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Bud Elliott 3, Bud Elliott, the number 3.
And as good as Washington and Texas was, Washington, nearly blows the game by not knowing how to manage the end of a football game. But you talk about coaches all the time. What he did at the end of the game was criminal.
It was, and I think we need to go back to the drive that Washington has with like 6 minutes left, where they throw. It was after one of the Texas turnovers. They throw 4 passes. They only run like a minute 10 off the clock. I'm like, I just think in this situation you do need to play the odds. Okay, once you get that first down, run the ball 3 times. Make sure Texas is drained of all of its timeouts. Just really take the odds of Texas winning down to really low single digit, like 2% type stuff. And that drive right there allowed Texas the time to be able to go down the field and get the first score. So like that to me was almost worse than what they did. Like I didn't think it was totally Cristobal, because they're like the value of getting the first down does actually end the game. Now we can debate, like punting the ball with 12 seconds left. There's almost no chance Texas scores. If you're that kid who gets hurt, though, don't you have to be like crawling off the field or telling your teammates to haul you off?
Well, I have to admit, I think that rule's got to be changed. I think it's completely unfair that someone on your team gets hurt and you get penalized for it. You're not trying to stop the clock. I'm sorry. I think
So
that
if you
rule
have the
needs to be
lead,
changed.
yeah.
Right. But so let me get this straight. Is this like Clemsoning was back in the day? Is coaching now a Cristobal?
I think end of game time management type stuff is
a Cristobal.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure we can use that going forward. That's like 15 years ago when a team was Clemsoning, all right, turning a 10-win roster into 6-6. Now, coaching at the end of a game, we're having a Cristobal.
Apparently, he did it in the bowl game as well. I did not watch the end of the bowl game. I was at Under Armour for recruiting stuff. Okay. Oh, man.
Not good. By the way, your thoughts on Penix and your thoughts on Michigan, Washington.
I thought Penix was just incredibly good. The ball placement was just fantastic. That offense looks like almost like a flag football team that practices together 7 days a week. Just everybody's open at the right time. Their understanding of spacing is incredible. Like they know when to speed up and when to throttle down in terms of within the route to create the right spacing. Their receivers didn't have a single drop. Their running back had one. Like those guys all catch the ball. It's like, damn it, the guy got open, and they never just had that letdown play where like the receiver doesn't catch it. Like they're always, damn it, like, okay, the guy's up, throwing darts, he just always bullseyeing you. Also, Penix in the pocket, his sack avoidance, and then the ability to get the eyes up down the field immediately and just throw the dagger is really, really impressive. I will say I thought that Texas, the lack of the edge rush was pretty important. Texas, if you look at their PFF grades, the one kid had a 0 and the other kid was graded 23. Like 60s and 70s are good to very good. 0 and 23 means you got your butt kicked by Washington's 2 very good tackles, by the way. But that will be something to watch here in the Natty game, right? How well does Michigan get some pressure off the edge? Because Penix was never pressured off the edge. It was all from the interior.
And the few times they did get any kind of an edge rush, but I back to what you said before, what Penix impressed me, and I didn't watch as much Washington as I probably should have, but when I did, I liked him. I liked Penix, but he stepped up in the pocket. There was about 3 or 4 plays in which he stepped up, never took his eyes off target, and made throws. It's one thing when you've got 6-7 seconds back there to hit the open guy. It's another with pressure coming to be able to step up and still make those throws, and I thought he did that, Bud.
And Washington was a weird team to scout this year because for the first played some joke secondaries, right? Boise State, really bad secondary. Michigan State was having some problems, if you guys recall, at the time they played Washington. And then for like the final 5 weeks of the season, he looked hurt. He did not play well. It just he didn't have it. And then he seemed like he gets healthy. He looked this is the healthiest he's looked probably since September. And now they're dangerous because all 3 receivers are really damn good.
Remaining moments here. Gut feeling about the game. Mine is I don't know if Michigan has to throw a pass, and I think Washington can light them up. I think this could be, first team to get 3 stops wins.
McCarthy has to hit some of the open guys that he missed against Alabama. He had some opportunities, and he just missed the throws. Penix probably needs to play unbelievably well again. I go back to my buddy telling me that Michigan has the dudes this year up front that Georgia had last year. And like that he told me that September, but it still kind of, it sits in my mind when I'm picking these games.
They bullied Bama for a majority of that game up front, and I don't think a lot of people expected that.
Yeah.
The impact, if any, on Florida State with the 63-3, has it cost them recruits? Has it cost them some kids already in the transfer portal, either leaving or now not coming? Any impact at all, or is everybody able to just, know what the reality was?
I think the long-term impact is unknown. I think Florida State messaged it pretty well in terms of to recruits. Like it's pretty well known. I think like they encouraged their guys who needed to get surgeries to go get them. Right? Like guys who would have put it off if they had played in the playoff, but they're like, this game's meaningless. The committee just told you your games don't matter. You just saw your quarterback snap his leg in a game that the committee now says doesn't matter. So go get your surgeries. And they had like 4 more guys, get surgeries and elect not to play in the game. They ended up being down, I think it was 16 starters. So that was a wild game to watch. Good teams win. Great teams cover all the numbers. So That was a bit of a Christmas gift from a wagering perspective. But no, they haven't had anybody else leave in the portal. Pat Payton ended up re-signing their defensive end, who was kind of wishy-washy. Would he go pro? Would he test the market in the portal? And they got DJ Uiagalelei, who is – it's not a great year for quarterbacks in the portal. I just think he's a bit of a stable choice for them, a guy who's played a lot of college football, a guy who can throw the deep ball. So, yeah.
The Liberty kid, Kadon Salter, what do you think of him?
I think he's actually pretty talented. And that will be interesting to see. Is that Auburn as everybody assumes? Does he actually like Hugh Freeze? Could Ohio State get involved there? After watching the semifinal, like, does Bama need a quarterback? Could they get involved? I don't know. Everybody's assuming Auburn, but to assume that I would need to know what the relationship like is between he and Freeze, because obviously Freeze coached him,
right,
for 1 year there at Liberty.
But as always, very appreciative of you and your time and what you brought to the show. I'm sure we'll talk a few times during the offseason. All the best to you and your family, Bud.
Enjoyed it, guys. Happy New Year.
Bud Elliott, 24/7 Sports, CBS Sports HQ, Cover 3 Podcast, Nolecast. Follow him on Twix, Bud Elliott 3, Bud Elliott 3. And my mom has to be happy. His last appearance of the year, he didn't wear the hat.
Look at that.
Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. The bonus hour's next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey, y'all, it's Ben Allen. When it comes to singing and performing live shows, I'm in my comfort zone. When it comes to wanting to surprise my wife with diamonds, I'm a bit lost. That's why I go see my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd helped me blow my wife away when we got engaged, and I've been applauding them ever since. If you're in the market for diamonds this holiday season, Southwest Florida has been giving Jason and Todd a standing ovation for over 20 years. Go see them and let Jason and Todd know that Ben Allen sent you.
Thanks, Ben. We're proud of you and your accomplishments and thrilled that you are part of our Diamond District family.
This holiday season, visit Jason and me at the Diamond District. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, Adam, listen, I think there's a handful of teams that are preparing to go to the playoffs who should seriously consider bringing in Dalvin Cook. He's certainly fresh. He's not worn. He literally didn't take a snap in the Jets' last game. 67 carries all year. Totally. Also, I think I trust Cook more than Bigsby at this point, who's had fumble issues.
Coach just called.
Good.
Chambers is on hold.
Awesome.
So J Webb, because he was sick, he lost all that weight.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's got to take J Webb out and get some. He's got his old suits, man.
I know.
He looked like Aikman with that jacket on. And I know why. So, but I had the game on. I'm like, man. And I know he was really ill, so I know all the. He was at death's door, for crying out loud. It's not, but it's one of those. It's like the first thing I noticed. Like, man, you're swimming in that stuff, J Webb.
Before he got really sick, he was losing weight, and the suits were starting to get that size. The last year we did games together, yeah. It'll be nice to see him tomorrow. Because I sent money to the GoFundMe, but I did not see him in the hospital or in the rehab place. DC, I agree with you. I think that's completely unfair.
Okay, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And we begin the Diamond District bonus hour with Pat Chambers, the head coach of the FGCU men's basketball team, and they pulled off a stunner last time out Saturday night, knocking off 7th-ranked FAU. They're getting ready for conference play tomorrow night and Saturday night at home at Alico against Jacksonville in North Florida. Coach, it's David and Mark. A belated Happy New Year and congratulations. How are you?
Happy New Year, guys. Great to hear your voices again. I'm doing great, obviously.
All right. When you were preparing for the game, do you talk about winning or do you just prepare for the game unfolds, and then it's about winning?
It's really just this is the next game on the schedule. Obviously, we've been through so much in November and December, illnesses, injuries, season-ending injuries, you name it. It's been happening to us. So our approach hasn't changed, and I hate giving the cliches of just keep getting better, keep showing up, keep waking up, keep a great attitude. It's going to flip. Our luck's going to change. The ball's going to start bouncing our way. A la Florida Memorial, we hit a 3 in overtime to win that game. That went like 5 feet in the air and dropped. We haven't seen one of those in a couple of years. So it was nice to see that. So as we approach FAU, it's business as usual. Don't even talk about number 7. Don't even talk about they beat us by 30 plus last year. It was really the mindset of getting better, improving in some area. I felt like all season long we improved in some area, even though we weren't stockpiling wins. And that was the goal heading into tomorrow night.
How do you keep the confidence though, as I'm watching the game unfold and it's getting tight late in the game and you've lost a lot of close games? What are you saying at that point, into the last couple of media timeouts to keep the confidence level high against a team that you had them right there, but obviously it's getting tight? What do you say late in the game to keep your team's confidence up?
You know what? Hey, we've been here before. We're battle tested. Learn from Indiana. Learn from Pitt. Learn from the Virgin Islands when we're getting into 1 and 2 possession games. Learn from Mercer, where we were up 9 and ended up losing. We know what we need to do. Hold the line. Let's get a stop. Rely on the great habits that we've been creating, and just being super confident, getting in there, giving one thing on defense, writing something up on offense that they feel comfortable with and confident in, and just giving them the ultimate, really green light on the offensive side of things. Because if Dalian Johnson didn't feel like he had that type of green light or confidence, I'm not so sure he makes that shot out of the timeout.
How nice was it having a full house? And do you think that truly the team fed off that?
Yeah, I absolutely look. I'm grateful for Dusty for playing the game and keeping the series going. You know, he doesn't have to do that. They want him on national television, and he agreed to keep it going, and I thought that was great of him. And we needed it. Come on, the university needed it. The athletic department needed it. We've been through a heck of a lot in the last couple of months here, and we knew something good had to happen soon for us to get our energy back and our confidence back as an athletic department. So to have our fans come out, because technically the students don't come back till next weekend, and I'm grateful for the students who did come and storm the court. Man, I haven't been part of a court storming in quite some time. So that was awesome. But the Southwest Florida community came out to support our guys, regardless of our record. And that just shows you the relationship that we are building with this local area.
Now, how do you springboard that victory? Conference play is getting started. This is the important part of the season. What's the springboard from that game to lead you into conference play?
Yeah, rely on the habits. We see what we can do when we're locked in for almost 40 minutes. I'll give us 34. I mean, the goal, you try to hit a 40-minute game where you're just hitting on all cylinders. And the good news is we haven't done that yet. So that's exciting to me. So that's what I've been telling the guys. And I think we're fortunate that we have one more day to get kind of FAU out of our system. We have a day of practice today where we can get better preparation for Jacksonville and really work on ourselves. But it's one game at a time. We only got 16 conference games this year, and we're a one-bid league. So we can't get too high. We can't get too low. Again, I know it sounds cliche, but it is absolutely true. I know you watched the football championship, Michigan, and I know you watched Washington. We all did, right? I mean, the togetherness of those teams and how they battle adversity, not just within that game, but all year long. I mean, we can learn so many lessons from that. And I did use that yesterday in a team meeting. I said, guys, we got to learn. We've been through so much injury, illness, guys out. You name it. We've been through travel problems. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But in the end, we always stuck together. We always kept moving the needle. And that's what we have to do in conference. There's going to be highs. There's going to be lows. But just keep moving forward and keep getting better. Give ourselves the best chance to be the best team we can be by March, because that's the ultimate goal, that conference tournament.
Pat Chambers, year 2, head coach, FGCU men's basketball program. They've won 3 in a row, including the best regular season win in school history, beating 7th-ranked FAU Saturday night. They're home tomorrow night for Jacksonville. They're home Saturday night, 7 o'clock for North Florida as Ace on Play gets underway. You were missing 3 of your top 6 scorers against FAU. 2 of the players, my understanding is Johnston and Weir may be out for the year. Are you getting any of your walking wounded back?
So, and I don't think that people know what's going on out there. I mean, those 3 guys started last year. They started on a 17-win team. So we really had to adjust on the fly and figure out what our identity was going to be. And I'm grateful for Zach Anderson's play, and Keyshawn Kelman, the transfer from Princeton, has been amazing. Our freshman point guard's been amazing. He was MVP of City of Palm last year. Dalian Johnson, transfer from Penn State, has really stepped up. So proud of those guys. I'm hoping to get Isaiah Thompson back soon, potentially tomorrow, hopefully Saturday. If not these 2 games, then definitely the following week, where he feels 100%. But Chase Johnston, who was, our leading shot attempt guy, probably our leading scorer in the beginning of the year, out for the season, and Andre Weir and Keyshawn were basically splitting minutes. And, to not have a 6'9", 6'10", 260, either a starter or as a backup, it definitely threw us in a little bit of a bind. So we're learning how to play without those guys. We're hopeful that we get Isaiah Thompson back for the new year.
How tough is it to get offensive chemistry when you lose players like that?
Yeah, because the great Mike Tyson. Can I throw a Mike Tyson out there?
Sure.
We all have a plan until we get punched in the mouth. Right? So we're in the Virgin Islands, and boy, did we get punched in the mouth with injuries and illnesses, and you name it. Because we played Indiana really well, played Pitt really well, feeling good about the direction we're headed in, and then the bottom fell out. It was just amazing. So we had to, as a staff, we had to figure out, okay, what's the best lineups? Now, how do we have to play on the defensive end to put these guys in the best position? Now, how do we have to play on the offensive end to help these guys succeed and put them in the best position? Because now Isaiah Thompson, who was an all-league player last year, is gone or out for now. Chase Johnson, one of the best sharpshooters in the country, is out. A super skilled big man is out. So now you got to figure. And Dakota Rivers, our lob dunk threat, is out. So now we have to figure out how do we play with this group. And it's taken us a little bit of time to find that connectivity and cohesion. But I really feel like we're headed in a good direction.
I mentioned earlier, it's year 2, so you went through the ASUN last year. You had ups, you had downs. Is it helpful that now you kind of get a feel of the coaches and the rosters and style of play, or is every year so different now in college hoops that it really doesn't matter?
It's such a great point. I mean, every year is the coaches are pretty much the same. Jacksonville's doing some different things they didn't do last year, that's for sure. So we're all going to throw some tweaks out there and make some adjustments to our talent. But every year, I mean, Jacksonville has a transfer from Wake Forest. They got a bunch of transfers, actually. And North Florida's got almost a whole new team with a bunch of transfers. So as far as players are concerned, yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. But as far as coaches and scheme, for the most part, coaches are going to be similar to what they've done in years past. But again, we all tailor to our strengths. And so every year it's going to be a little bit different.
Coach, are you a golfer?
I can play. I don't golf often because
okay.
trying to build a program here.
I understand. Do you remember Mickelson's leap when he won the Masters?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. I thought I saw a couple Mickelson leaps down the stretch. I thought, there was a little air, I thought, not a ton, but I thought there was about 1.5 foot of air underneath the shoes down the stretch with those big threes against FAU. Would you agree that was your best Mickelson leap?
I'm grateful that you gave me 1.5 foot. No way that I can touch the rubber on the backboard right now. There's no shot. Pickleball has absolutely taken away my legs. But definitely Dalian Johnson, because when you come out of a timeout and you draw something up and you're tied, we know we want to get a good shot. Not a good shot, a great shot. And whether he made that or missed it, we all want to feel good, like that was well executed. And then defensively, that was well executed. So I definitely got about an inch or two, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the big win over the weekend, and hopefully these guys start to come back healthy. Best of luck beginning tomorrow night. ASUN play, Jacksonville Thursday night, North Florida Saturday night. Tickets available, Alico Arena. Come on out and support the Eagles. Coach, congratulations, continued success, and belated Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Pat Chambers. You can follow the coach on Twix, Twitter/X at Coach_Chambers, Coach_Chambers. He's always been honest with us.
1.5 feet?
Well, I was trying
to
be
being generous.
I was. I'll tell you what, though, he had like the Chris Farley, fist pumps going. He had the big wave of the arms going too.
It was definitely Van down by the side of the river fist pump by Coach Chambers, but it should have been because it was a monumental win as they take down FAU in the biggest regular season win in program history. We are Miller and Moulton. This is the bonus hour right here on Florida Sports Network.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Now go blue. We just, it was a week that no one in the industry was working, but we were, and we just thought
it was literally our vacation.
Yeah,
we took 4 hours off.
Right, we took 4
out of
hours
out of 16.
Out of right. So
holy crap!
But no, we're back.
We don't want to be.
No, we got to be out. We would love to be.
We'd love to kill this hour.
To
make
9.
life so much better.
We would. Most shows are no more than 3 hours. And for how we're being compensated, yes, we would very much like to be done at 9. But that was a good. We've had good interviews with him.
I think he does a great job. I mean,
he's been good with us.
He's very honest.
Yeah, he puts up with our goofiness. You know, by the way, he's never said no to us. Every single time we've asked, you know, it's not always easy to get to him, but once we get to him, he's like, yeah, sure.
Well, Adam, you probably won't, but you'll get good drugs. That's the other side of this.
And Adam, you may need the drugs.
I would just save them for the game.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, that's emotionally a tough one for you because you hate Nashville so much. You hate the Titans so much.
I think the Jags are going to roll.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I don't. I think it's Derrick Henry's. I think everybody knows it's going to be Derrick Henry's last game. I actually think also the two teams genuinely don't like each other.
Right, but think about it from Derrick Henry's perspective. He's like, hey, so it's my last game, so you're going to hand the ball off 30 times to me and just put more tread on my tires.
No, I think Henry's playing for a contract. He wants to show everybody I still got it.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the Diamond District bonus hour. Listen, you know, this time of year, we just go from one big Diamond District event to another. Because, you know, they got that, they got that day looming 6 weeks from now. Felipe, you listening? Yep. You know what we're talking about. You know, all of a sudden the color goes pink, hearts. Right. May want to keep Todd and Jason in mind. Just saying.
It's where you go.
Yeah, it's a go-to.
I won Christmas. You want to win Valentine's Day.
Right?
The proof is in the pudding. We have a man right here on the show who just won Christmas. You can be a winner too.
I have to admit, I really think she won Christmas.
Oh, no. There's no doubt that she was a winner.
Yeah, she played you perfectly.
Everyone's a winner.
Okay.
Except for my credit card bill. That's a big loser. But it would have been a bigger loser if I would have shopped anywhere else.
By Todd and Jason in the Diamond District.
They
right.
helped me. They saved me some money.
You know, one of those guys is a big Ohio State fan, though. This may be a rough week for him. Okay.
Yeah, and the other one's a big Dolphins fan.
Right, I know. It could be there's a little bit of stress, I think, this week in the store.
I don't think there's any stress in the store. They got through Christmas. I mean, if you're in that business right now, it's just deep breath and hold on, and a couple weeks start the Valentine's Day specials. But I think it's all calm right now on the Diamond District front, that is.
If you miss any part of the show, go to the FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Trent does a terrific job uploading every hour of the show shortly after we're done with the hour. I mean, we had Dalton Miller on in the 7 o'clock hour, Seth Everett, Bud Elliott last hour. We just had a nice conversation with Pat Chambers, men's basketball coach at FGCU. They're beginning conference play tomorrow night. They're home Thursday and Saturday nights, Jacksonville, North Florida.
Got to figure out what's on the home front, but there's a chance Trent and I may be making an appearance at Alico Arena on Thursday night.
Tomorrow night? Really?
Yeah. There's a chance.
Okay.
I may be a little late. I've still got I've got the daughter's soccer practice. I know I've got something.
Well, I know you got something too. I mean, married man with a 9-year-old. I know there's something that's been written down on the list of things to do. But, yeah, let's see if they can build upon this. Great
What
win.
would be a good conference record for them this year? You're more in tune with the A-Sun. They were picked to finish third in the preseason polls by the coaches and the media. So is that a 10-win conference? Is that 10-6? Is that 11-5?
Well, I think considering the injuries, Mark, if they went 10-6 in conference play, that would be solid. Wouldn't be great, but it would be solid. I'll say this. I don't think the A-Sun's really good this year. I don't. Like, I thought the top end of the A-Sun was much better last year. I think the A-Sun's in a bit of transition. Liberty's left. This is Kennesaw State's last year, but they have a whole new staff. Eastern Kentucky is supposedly the team in the conference this year. But I think the conference can be had this year. I also think the conference tournament could be wide open. So just to make the conference tournament, I really think this year it's wide open. So, we'll see. Like last year, they got off to a 3-1 start in conference, and then they went in the tank. And they were 13-4 overall. And it's like, wait a minute, what happened? And they finished like 17-15 on the season. Lost, I think, 11 of the last 15 games. So, let's get off to a solid start here. They own Jacksonville. They absolutely own Jacksonville. Jacksonville hasn't won an Alico Arena in 8 years. All right. And starting with Andy Enfield, FGCU absolutely turned around the whole rivalry with Jacksonville. They have owned the Dolphins for 12 years now. They really have. Michael Fly went 5-1. Dooley went 7-4. Andy went 4-0. And Pat Chambers swept them both times. That's 18-5 in the last 23 meetings against Jacksonville. So, and North Florida does not have a very good record at Alico Arena either. So, chance historically, and coming off their best performance, chance to get off to a good start in conference play.
Would be nice to see after a very rough non-conference year this year, after you just pointed out, a really good non-conference year a year ago.
They were 5-9 heading into the FAU game. 3 of the 5 wins were against non-D1 schools. They were 2-9 against Division I competition and had lost every single close game they played.
And I'm watching that FAU game, and they've got the lead, and FAU's clawing back, and it keeps getting tighter and tighter. And it's why I asked the question I did. What do you say during those last couple of media timeouts when you know the nerves are there of the players for them to hang on, hit shots down the stretch, and win, and get big rebounds and big stops on defense against a team that they were undersized to? I thought that was really impressive.
Lost the battle of the boards by 12, but came up with a couple of key rebounds late when they needed them. Great win. Awesome. It was, as somebody who did their games for 20 years, it was great to see the joint packed again.
Well, and, I wouldn't, I guess I would say it to Coach Chambers. I wouldn't do it in an interview standpoint. I don't think they were coming out to see FGCU.
Oh, no doubt.
They were coming out to see the top 10 team in the country. But they're from here. You're at the home team's arena. The home team starts playing well. It's contagious because the majority of half the people there were there for FGCU. The second half that filled that place up were up there to watch FAU play.
But once FGCU, and they took a lead early, it's kind of like, wow, okay, let's cheer this on. No, 9-point lead at the half. Okay. Did FAU ever take the lead? Every time I saw the score, I thought they tied it a couple times, but I never saw FAU take the lead.
No, I think tied was as
they didn't
well as they would do. They would get it to a tie game and never ever take the lead. But what an accomplishment for FGCU!
So good for them. And
they've got to. I'll be honest; they need to respond with a win Thursday and a win Saturday. And I'm not joking around.
Well, it would be very disappointing if they lost to Jacksonville because of what I just mentioned. They've owned Jacksonville. This Jacksonville team is very different than the one last year. They kind of gutted the roster. Jacksonville didn't even qualify for the ASUN playoffs last year. FGCU actually got the last spot in the playoffs. So that's how badly both teams struggled in conference play last year. Former FGCU coach Michael Fly is actually the lead assistant at Jacksonville now. Former FGCU 1,000-point scorer Christian Terrell's a grad assistant. So There's going to be former FGCU broadcaster David Moulton's going to be broadcasting the game back to Jacksonville.
Traitor. And, the other ones I get, but you
really, really, really struggling to pay the bills here. Really, okay.
Oh, and working this game's going to get it done. I know what you're making for these games.
Hey, listen, I'm making 100 more than they wanted to pay me for this game. Let me tell you.
Get your gas covered. That's about it.
Maybe I can afford a meal, along with the gas, maybe.
I know a couple of little spots that are cheap, David. I can help you out. You haven't been around town in a while. I'll take you to one of those gas stations for tacos.
I will say, I don't know if I'll wear it. Like, they gave me Jacksonville clothing. I've got Jacksonville shirts. I have a Jacksonville hoodie. I don't know if I can wear it tomorrow. I feel
What do you mean? Who's paying you?
Well, they are.
Then that's what you wear.
But you just jokingly called me a traitor. That's what I'm wondering. If the people who recognize me go, look at that blankety blank.
Paint the gray in your face black. Go NWO with that JU stuff on and just give them a wrestling pose as you come and hammer it down towards the midsection and say, take that, FGCU, Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly, if that wasn't already. Next.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So, Trent, are you going back for the playoff game?
He walked out.
All right.
How's the tuna mac?
It's excellent.
Now, do you make the tuna mac from scratch, or do you already buy pre-made tuna mac? Is this homemade tuna fish?
No, this is boil the
Okay.
noodles and
Okay. All right.
throw in the tuna.
No, I got you. I just didn't know if you were buying it like you buy a potato salad at Publix that it's already pre-made.
By the way, John, I don't think it would be Greeny at 9. Isn't Greeny at 10?
The morning show goes 4 hours, I believe.
Yeah. Now, I haven't heard one good thing about the new ESPN syndicated morning show, but
What was your guys' time slot before this? Or have you always done mornings?
No, we did 2 to 6 or 3 to 7, didn't we do, David?
we started 3 to 7, then we made it 2 to 6.
We did afternoons, and then when we went to the other station, we did morning 6 to 9.
Why did the bonus hour become a thing?
Because when we came back here, they're an ESPN affiliate, and they didn't want the empty hour. And in trying to syndicate to stations that have ESPN, they wouldn't. I don't know. Again, there's not a lot of cooking done in the Moulton household, so I assumed that it was pre-made. That's why I asked.
No.
I know, but again, that's why I asked. It's a safe assumption that it was pre-made in your house.
Very safe.
I don't think that's a knock.
Adam, we've got JP on the show tomorrow. It sounds like you're going to miss it. You're going to be at the dentist. Trent, are you going back for the playoff game?
That's the hope. I'll talk to you guys about if that's possible. But yeah, I mean, once we figure out when it is, I'll look into it. When do they announce the schedule for that? Is it like right after all the games are done?
Well, the problem may be with Buffalo. I mean, they'll announce it at the very end of the Buffalo-Miami game.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of biscuits and gravy, Canada Relief. It's wonderful.
There's games on Saturday, right? Playoff games? Two?
Oh,
yes.
3.
Yeah. 2, 3, 1.
Okay.
That would be extremely ideal because then I could just fly in and out.
You're
over
getting
the
a Sunday
weekend.
game.
That's what I'm thinking too, unfortunately. All right, here we go.
I don't know.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour is up. The Diamond District bonus hour. Thanks so much for listening. You know, we were just talking because Trent's a Lions season ticket holder. And they are about to host their first playoff game in, 30 years?
Yep.
I mean, he's got to go to that, right? I mean, you know, we're decent guys. I mean, we got to let him go to that, don't we?
Well, David, for you, it's really easy.
Mark
it doesn't change your world one damn bit. So it's really nice for you to be judge and jury over there about.
I'm not. I was not.
I'm going to have to do all the work.
We have agreed. Okay, there are no 1-1 okay, votes on this show where something is done. There's no 101 votes. We have agreed every decision has to be a 2-0 vote. I have to admit, I think we'd come across as blankety blanks if we. Here's my thing, though. I think the Lions are going to get a Saturday game. Hear me out. 2 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, 1 on Monday. The 1 on Monday is going to be a 4 or 5 game.
Right.
So, whichever South Division champion in the AFC, NFC will get one of those. So let's assume Tampa and Jacksonville are winning. Tampa, and we'll just go with the way the seating is now. Tampa, Eagles, Jags, Browns. One of them is going to be the Monday game.
Nighter.
So the Cowboys are going to get Sunday. I'm convinced. I mean, Fox is going to jump up and down and scream that they want the Cowboys at 4:30 Sunday, and they're going to get it. So now it's a matter of where do you put the Lions? I think you put them Saturday night, which, by the way, would be the Peacock game.
Ooh.
But, I'm just thinking that you also, because we're of the belief at ABC that we're getting Tampa Bay. We're getting the NFC, not the AFC.
Okay.
Is our thinking. So, I don't know, just a thought that I think the Lions may be a prime candidate to get Saturday.
Well, Saturday night's Peacock?
Yes, the 4:30 game, I believe, is NBC, and the 8 o'clock game is Peacock.
I could see them putting the Lions on Peacock. That
just throwing that out there, Trent. Don't know if that, day of the week, network, whether that influences plans at all.
Oh, I haven't made any plans. I wouldn't do that to you guys. I got to talk to you guys first. And since there's no set.
Well, the last guy made plans and told us what his plans were. Okay, so that's what we're very appreciative that you've decided to handle it this way.
And I can be guilted. And Moulton has already thrown this all right in my lap. I mean, everybody just listened to what happened. Well, I think he should be able to go.
I didn't say that. I just said
hold him back. It's a 2-0 vote. We all know what my vote is. My vote is to let him go to the game.
All I said was we would come across as a bit of blankety blanks if
and by we, it's now me.
No, listen, I can change my tune. I'm just saying that if we keep him in town, we are being a bit of blankety blanks, which, by the way, we can be, and we're good at it, actually.
But we like him.
Well, we do. It's early. Yes, we like him. Seems like a very nice guy. Okay, and I got, me, I'm a sucker for a sports fan whose teams have not had any success for a long period of time. Trent, you're new.
In 2002. And this is the first playoff game in the building.
Right. Trent,
that's unreal.
You're new, but one of my things is everybody deserves a parade. Every sports fan needs to, like the Cleveland sports fan of a certain age, at least LeBron gave them a parade. It's not the parade they wanted, but they got a parade. Every sports fan deserves, like the Buffalo sports fan. Come on, sports gods. They deserve a parade.
Wrong week to be talking about that.
I know.
No one's looking for any parades in Buffalo here in Florida this week.
I didn't say this year, but just a parade.
No, I'm just timing.
I know. Timing. You're right. Although I did pick them to win the Super Bowl this year. So.
And they'll get hot at the right time if they get in, but we might as well get after it.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1920 we start. Boston sells this player named Ruth to the Yankees for $125,000 cash and a $350,000 loan.
When we were talking about how bad the Russell Wilson trade was, and fortunately the person who contacted me said, I know you were just talking NFL trades, but you do have to acknowledge the worst trade of all time was Babe Ruth. Yes, We do. It's like the Miracle on Ice. It's in its own area code. Everything else gets debated.
Today in 25, Mussolini dissolves the Italian parliament and names himself dictator.
You know, that's what those dictators do. They're very egotistical.
52, Dragnet premieres on NBC. 1962, they break ground on the Astrodome. Today in 71 was the first AFC and NFC championship games. Colts would beat the Raiders. Cowboys would beat the Niners. 1973, Steinbrenner buys the Yankees for $10 million. Seemed to work out pretty well for
He
Steinbrenner.
also said he was going to be a silent owner. He did. At the press conference, there's clips. He basically said, you know, nope, not going to be very active.
For that day.
Right. Until 4 o'clock.
Apple was incorporated today in 1977. Today in 83 on Monday Night Football, Tony Dorsett ran for 99 yards on one play against Minnesota to beat the Vikings 31-27. How many people were on the field for the Cowboys for that play, David?
That would be 10, Mark. They scored a 99.5-yard touchdown run, and they only had 10, and Minnesota had 11.
Gretzky scored his 700th goal today in 1991. The Bills made their comeback today, coming back from 32, winning 41-38. Frank
Reich. They're down 28-3 at the half. He throws a pick six to start the second half.
Today in 2004, Ryan Seacrest takes over from Casey Kasem on American Top 40.
What has ever happened to him? And could he talk about a guy who just, all right, enough gigs, okay, enough already.
Today in 2007, Miami Dolphins fans hated Nick Saban. He resigned to take the Alabama job.
Wait a minute. 2 weeks earlier, he just said he wasn't going to go to Alabama. Rich Rodriguez turned down the job. Turned down the Alabama job because he was going to win a national title at West Virginia. And it could have happened, too. All they had to do was beat a 4-win Pitt team. They would have played for the title. And then he leaves West Virginia and takes the Michigan job. It's not like it changed the history of college football or anything.
And David, today in 2009, Bitcoin was created.
That's become a thing.
Hank Stram, Bobby Hall, Rick McLeish, and Darren Dalton all born today. John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin is 78. Mel Gibson is 68. Cheryl Miller is 60. Michael Schumacher is 55. And Eli is 43 years old today. What did I miss, David?
Well, today was the day it all started with Cuba. Today was the day that we severed diplomatic relations with Cuba back in 61. First woman goes into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame today in 87.
Aretha.
There you go. She should have been the first, too. So, and we arrested Noriega today in 90. That was a thing back then. You know.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Jersey for the good. In Voorhees, where Ezekiel and Ezra Humphrey were born a year apart. The first twin, born at 11:48 p.m., shares the birthday with his father. Twin number 2, born on New Year's Day, shortly before 12:30.
That's just outside of Philly, by the way. It's in that part of the Garden State.
For the bad, we go to Michigan, where I love this story. It's in Grand Haven, Michigan. A big pothole driving local drivers crazy led one of them to put a leather recliner in the pothole.
Yeah!
The pothole was removed. The city of Grand Haven says it was not behind the recliner's disappearance, but the chair was then replaced by a blue armchair, and locals added furniture to the scene until it was a full outdoor living room.
That's fantastic. Well, I told you when I did construction in the city in the summer in the 80s, all right, they filled a pothole one time. I couldn't believe it. I was like 40 stories up. We looked down. They literally showed up. They took a refrigerator, threw it in the ground, and paved over it. That's how big the pothole was.
For the ugly, we go to Cape Coral, where masked kids are pounding on doors and lighting fires.
Young whippersnappers.
A man's surveillance video caught one of the masked culprits on camera. In the video, you can see him give a thumbs up to his friend, count down, run to the door, kick it, and run off. The homeowner thought someone was breaking in. He called the police around 1:30. Also saw the kids light a fire in the middle of the street. That, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, January the 3rd, 2024. I wouldn't be banging on anyone's door lighting a fire in 2024.
No.
Not in this state.
No.
They shoot you down and get away with it.
Yes. In fact, in certain communities, they're encouraged to do so. Yes. By the way, there's an NBA game on ABC tonight. What is up with that? 8:30. Bulls and Knicks. They know it's not like Jordan and Ewing, right?
I would hope so.
I mean,
David, it's like you said in the first hour, though. It's, hey, look at us. We got stuff going on, too.
I mean, are they going to show, like, are this Riley's Knicks? I mean, what are they doing here? Phil's Bulls? Well, whose idea is this? The Heat are in Los Angeles, 10 o'clock tonight on ESPN against the Lakers. LA is a 6.5-point favorite. Jimmy Butler hasn't been playing a lot lately. Sounds like with that spread, he ain't going to be playing tonight. Orlando's in Sacramento. Kings coming off a bad loss last night. Magic coming off a loss last night. So Sacramento, a 4.5-point favorite. Busy night in the NBA. There's like 14 games. There's only 2 in the NHL. One of them's on TNT. Seth's Devils against Ovechkin, who scored last night. He's got 8 now on the year. And the Caps, 7:30 TNT.
Jersey's for a lack of shots for Ovechkin. He's still top 15 in the league in shots on goal. He just is not netting anything.
No, he's not. So college basketball, Canes on ESPN tonight at 8 o'clock hosting Clemson. Clemson's the nationally ranked team in that one. FS1, Mark, your favorite. Big East at 6:30. Seton Hall and Providence. FS1, 6:30. There you go.
It's my network, David.
It's your league. That's fantastic.
So that's what's going on tonight.
Yep.
Not a great night of college hoop, not a great night of NHL, but a big night of NBA basketball if you want to watch some hoop.
Yeah. I will say, that stat I threw out there earlier, like the Devils are big favorites. Listen, you got the Hard Rock app. You've become a little bit of a degenerate. Okay, it's okay. You can admit it. The Caps are 6-0-1 on the second of back-to-backs this year. They played last night and won. They're home tonight against the Devils, and they're getting big odds are the Caps. And they're at home. I'm just saying, you might want to, if you want to bet a hockey game, the trend so far this year says you bet the Caps tonight. Just saying.
If you are like me and you like to hunt for value, the Hard Rock app has a boost. With the Heat and the Magic both to win. Magic are taking on the Kings tonight. Heat, of course, taking on the Lakers. They're plus 850 if you want to parlay both to win.
You know why they give those big boosts?
Because it's a sucker.
People don't win parlays.
Right. Never mind that both those teams are underdogs too, and they're like, oh, we'll really boost it, and you get no points. Have a great hump day and evening. We'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks for listening, Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in